Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Insurtech Summer Summit 2020. My name is Rachel Sapienza. I'm the program manager here in Silicon Valley for the Insurtech program. Really excited to have you here today and have you help us celebrate these 28 startups that have come a really long way in the 12 weeks of our virtual batch from home. But I want to kick it off first by welcoming Eugenio Gonzalez. He's our Senior Venture Associate here in Silicon Valley to open up with some opening remarks.
Thanks, Rachel. I can't open the video because it's one of the issues of being live. Jonathan, if you will, can you let me start the video? There we go. Morning, everyone. So very excited to be here. So first and foremost, good morning to everyone on the West Coast and East Coast. Good afternoon to our Latin American partners. Good evening to our European and Asian partners and startups. My name is Eugenio, Senior Associate with the Ventures team here at Plug and Play. And for those of you that don't know me, I oversee our Insurtech investment team spanning across 5 different countries and 4 different continents. I'm really excited to be here today bringing you our Batch 8 Summit alongside Rachel and 28 amazing startups. Now, this journey began a little while ago, and we've seen a lot and massive shifts since we started. Back when we had our selection week in February, where our anchor partners and eco-class partners were able to showcase or to see our startups, little did we know what would happen shortly after. So today, I'm going to briefly talk about 3 topics before we go into our fireside chat. First, what are our partners saying during this epidemic? Second, what has happened in life and health since we last chatted during selection day? And third, what are some of the updates in property and casualty? So it's safe to say that the world is a different place. And yes, change is definitely scary. But strange as it may seem, what we're seeing in Insurtech, and especially in its landscape, it's not that different for us. And let me explain before it sounds too crazy. From a macro perspective, the insurance industry and the financial services industry, for that matter, is in a much better place than it was in 2008 and 2009. And second, what's even more important is that the insurance industry has picked up the pace over the past 12 years or so and became much better at adapting to change. And so when a crisis shows up, it is an important opportunity to actually accelerate change. And we've seen this across the board with our partners. And they're looking to double down on startups that are simplifying processes by reducing the need for face-to-face interactions or digitizing physical processes. Now, corporates are showing an increased interest in technologies which allow them to work normally despite the pandemic. But this is, of course, not a trend anymore. It's the new normal. There's an old proverb that says, make hay while the sun shines, but sharpen your tools when it's raining. Our partners are viewing the current situation with a sense of opportunity. And even though some may face internal innovation budget reviews, partners and their champions are actually leaning in and leveraging Plug and Play to be at the forefront of what's currently happening. We've seen more activity from our partners and more attendees to our events than ever before. So our amazing partner success team, led by the incredible Trisha, has been actively monitoring the feedback and sentiment from our partners. So we've put together a few of the topics that have been mostly discussed during the past few months. These are the topics that have been repeated the most in our interactions with partners, which signal where the interest of the industry lies. Basically, what they aim to achieve under this market conditions. What are the circumstances currently? And so we see first and foremost that they want to capitalize on a newfound mandate for digital change internally. Digital is now necessitated, so it's imperative to get quick wins under these conditions to kickstart a wider digital vision. digital went from being first to now being digital only. Secondly, it's interesting to notice that there's an uptick on the interest from our corporate partners to actually engage talent from startups and perhaps acqui-hire them. It's no secret that with the current marketing conditions, some startups are going to go under, and it's an incredible opportunity for our partners to actually go and tap into those resources and get some new fresh talent from startups and change their culture and engage in a more swift approach to that digital transition. Thirdly, they want to get in on startup deals that they may previously had not been able to. Valuations are obviously readjusting, and so we're seeing that some of our corporate partners that were not able to get on some of the deals are now able to actually get into some opportunities that perhaps weren't available before. Folks that were waiting to fly out certain people to our office, for instance, for either a deal flow or an event, are now involving their teams much sooner and in bigger numbers. So we're seeing massive shifts from organizations to actually participate in events like this. And that means that overall the culture of the companies is shifting, and that's super exciting. Now, there's a time to analyze changes. And so specific industries, habits, and ways of doing business are being reviewed. We also have seen that our partners want to create new products and protect their customers and businesses from future events. Hopefully, we'll be learning the lessons from this event so that in case of future pandemics, we'll be even more prepared. Our customers want to be learning not only from what didn't work and what worked, but to make sure that when and if this happens again, that they're ready more than ever to actually make a swift change and adapt. That also means that we're likely going to see a spike in M&A activity. We've seen that on the health side, there's been an increase on pilots and POCs, not surprisingly, but more interestingly, we think that there's going to be an increase in M&A activity. And also, we think that the current market is going to shift and provide some consolidation within the industry, which we haven't seen that much historically. So if there's one takeaway from everything, is that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to either adapt and grow or be left behind. And there's no two ways about it. But let's switch gears here and close the circle on what we discussed over at Selection Day. During Selection Day, we spoke about how millions of Americans are turning into crowdfunding platforms to actually raise funds to cover their medical bills. The coronavirus pandemic has made painfully clear all the ways that the US healthcare system hasn't lived up to people's expectations. If anything, this crisis has shone a light into the different flaws of the system and the opportunities to improve healthcare. Preliminary data shows underrepresented minorities were disproportionately harmed during this crisis. For example, Black people account for 14% of Illinois' population, but more than 40% of its confirmed coronavirus deaths. So what happened? Well, inequalities that existed pre-pandemic, less flexible work, greater likelihood of pre-existing conditions, less access to medical care, all amplified the virus's impact on vulnerable populations. But when there's problems, there's also opportunities. And so the coronavirus pandemic has created a new start in healthcare, which is telemedicine. Can we go back one slide, please? There we go. So as I was saying, the use of information and communication technologies to provide clinical healthcare services for both clinical and non-clinical services has skyrocketed, mainly due to the fact that we have clogged ERs, burnout doctors, and the risk of more infections. So all those have contributed to a massive increase in virtual doctor visits. In fact, these have jumped over from 12,000 a week to over 1 million a week during the pandemic, according to the New York Presbyterian CEO. And while it's not new, telemedicine hadn't been a top priority for providers or insurers. Virtual visits can be less profitable than in-person services, especially for rural hospitals. And regulatory barriers have also created uncertainty around telemedicine's future. But for patients in the US, Medicare and Medicaid, or even insurance, don't always cover the cost of virtual healthcare. And even in rural areas where telehealth is especially helpful to plug in the healthcare gaps, many people lack the tech or the broadband access. And although we've seen many great progresses, we expect to see many more changes soon. First, we expect that Medicare and Medicaid will pay out the same for virtual appointments, and private insurers and their plans will likely shift to cover and reimburse telemedicine as much as in-person visits. We foresee that they're going to expand eligible services to include emergency care, physical therapy, and mental health. And third, we think that this is going to bring virtual care to home consults, hospices, and nursing homes. The bottom line is, we believe that COVID-19, by exposing the numerous flaws in the current healthcare system, will accelerate significant and permanent policy shifts in the industry. And the first that we think is going to likely happen is the easing of licensing rules so that telemedicine can be provided across state lines. Well, that sums up the healthcare part of it. Now, let's go back and quickly review the discussion on property and casualty that we had during selection day. Excellent. So during selection day, we spoke about how 5G is going to fundamentally change the way that we're doing things. And this is no secret. In fact, according to Ericsson, the Swedish telecom provider and 5G equipment provider, 5G is expected to hit 190 million subscribers globally by the end of this year. This is 30 million more devices than the prediction that they had back in November of last year, an 18% increase in less than a year alone. So why the sudden uptick? Well, more activity in Northeast Asia, especially in South Korea and China, are expected to drive forward the adoption of 5G. What that means for the rest, or the 10% that lags, is basically that Ericsson revised their estimates downwards for the US and the EU. In fact, European countries have postponed their 5G auctions due to coronavirus. And it's no secret that telecom providers such as Comcast, Cox Enterprises, or Telefonica are jumping into the 5G revolution and actually providing insurance. We touched upon this and how outsiders, not in the traditional industry, are actually jumping in on this and becoming more and more fintech-like. At Plug and Play, we're big fans of Andy Grove, and his book, Only the Paranoid Survive, highlights how and when industries go through strategic inflection points so that the established players may have trouble. And on the other hand, a 10x change provides an opportunity for outsiders to join and become part of the action. And this is what we expect will happen with 5G. A fundamental shift, a strategic inflection point for most industries, which can mean an opportunity to rise to new heights, but might just well mean that it's a signal of the beginning of the end. Now, I don't want to sound too gloomy, but don't take my word for it. Let's hear it from our guest today. So our guest, and with me today, is Dave Wexler. Dave leads Comcast's emerging markets initiatives focused on connected home insurance, maintenance, and warranty, and is responsible for the vision of the company in creating the strategy, product, and development around these initiatives. Dave partners with the nation's largest insurance carriers and reinsurers and explores new ways to leverage Comcast's customer-broad adoption of connected device and IoT technology for both residential and business customers. Prior to joining Comcast, Dave was a serial entrepreneur and had 25 years of experience working at startups focusing on new internet technologies and IoT. So you can understand why I'm very excited to hear what Dave has to say today. We don't have a lot of time. There's a lot of interesting topics to cover. So let's welcome today's guest, Dave Wexler.
Great, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And let's make sure I'm all set here. And I apologize, suddenly someone decided to do construction right outside my window right before this started, so hopefully there's not too much noise. So first of all, thank you for having me. I'm flattered, and I really appreciate the invite. I've been a huge fan of Plug and Play for 3+ years now. I've worked with a handful of the portfolio companies. I think it's a fantastic program, and I'm, again, very flattered to be asked to speak here. I also want to congratulate everybody who's involved. You know, well done. I think that you know, you are all embarking on an amazing experience being entrepreneurs. As mentioned, I spent 25 years of my life being an entrepreneur, and it's really my passion, despite being on the other side of the table right now, which I'll tell you about. But I think that the road that you're on now is an incredible journey, and you know, I really want to encourage everybody to enjoy it as much as possible and get as much out of it as you possibly can. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my background. I do want to just quickly mention, like 3 sentences, who Comcast is, just in case you're not familiar. Comcast is a Fortune 50 company. We are one of the largest internet providers in the world, if not the largest. We have about 30 million subscribers in the United States and another approximately 15 million overseas with our recent acquisition of Sky. We provide internet, TV, and mobile phone services, and home security as well to millions of subscribers. That all said, and we are doing a lot in insurance now, which I'll talk about, but that all said, I thought I'd start with a little bit about my background as an entrepreneur and kind of how I got here. Make sense?
Sounds
cool.
Great.
So yeah, 25 years of startups. I started my first startup right out of college. Very candidly, it was a tough job market, and I didn't know what else to do. And we were at an era where the internet was just emerging, believe it or not. This was in 1994. And I proudly informed my parents that I was going to be an internet entrepreneur, and they quickly asked me to become a lawyer or a doctor instead if possible. But of course, 3 or 4 years later, after everyone was telling me how crazy I was and how ludicrous it was, you know, people were like, wow, you're an internet entrepreneur, isn't that glamorous? Certainly, and there was no glamour. One of my points is being an entrepreneur is not glamorous at all, as I'm sure many of you already know. You know, the next 25 years would be incredible ups and downs. I have done 5 startups now. 3 I founded, 2 I joined the management team of at an early stage. I've raised almost 30 million across my businesses. I've had 1 exit. I've had 1 big exit, a couple sideways exits, and a couple complete disasters. And they've all been incredibly valuable. I think that, you know, this journey is one that is, you know, marked by really high highs and really low lows. And, you know, most importantly, it requires a tremendous amount of patience, discipline, and a recognition that you need to change a lot based on the data that you get along the way. You know, as a general tenet of my findings is don't trust people who tell you that they started a company and it went exactly as planned, which you will hear from time to time, because there's no such thing. You know, so many entrepreneurs that I know, and I know lots, many have been very successful, wildly successful. Actually, some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world I knew as they were starting their businesses. And I know many, many more who have failed. And the amount of pivots, the amount of adjustments, the amount of realizations they had along the way that they had to modify and shift are incredible. And that's the beautiful thing about being in a small, nimble business. And that's one of the things that I think, you know, really everybody has to take advantage of. the dexterity and the ability to move into trends, especially in a market like this where things are very unsettling, they're changing quickly, there is no clear path. That's opportunity for entrepreneurs. That's not, you know, a lot of people, I think, feel that this is a high risk time to be an entrepreneur. Quite the opposite. In my mind, this is the best time to be an entrepreneur. There is no playbook now that will guarantee success. And big companies like a Comcast will need startups to drive new direction, to create new innovations, to you know, really help us and the ecosystem evolve to a new place. So it's a fantastic time that you know, I think that you should all be going into with a lot of confidence. Particular segment that you're in, Insurtech, I think the world of, I started down this path after joining Comcast. I've actually went and got my PNC, my producer license in PNC insurance. We set up a national agency, which I'll talk about. But I think the space is, not to sound cliche, but it's ripe for disruption. It's also ripe for just innovation and new ideas and new partnerships. You don't have to reinvent the entire industry. You can build a super successful startup by complementing businesses in the market, by making processes better, by improving the overall, you know, insurance ecosystem. And there's so many areas, many of which don't even exist today, right? There's a lot of innovation coming into the market. And I'm blown away by the intelligence and the grit of people who are not only in the industry starting new companies, but also people from the outside the industry who can look inside and see, you know, inefficiencies and opportunities to kind of take technology or new thinking and apply it to a market that, you know, feels very big and very unpenetrable. Just a couple more quick thoughts on just being an entrepreneur and my path, and then you know, we can answer it. We'll talk through a couple of questions. You know, I mentioned the pivoting. You know, obviously I'm being a little bit glib there, but I do feel that the process of, you know, having an idea, iterating on that idea, and recognizing that you know, you may be right in certain areas and wrong in certain areas is critical. You know, throughout my career as an entrepreneur, I looked a lot to mentorship. I looked to industry advisors. I looked to people like the people in your program and the people that you may meet through your program and the partners that you get through this as, you know, potential advisors along the way. And you know, I think that the input you get from these different sources is so valuable. I also have the caveat, though, that you know, being an entrepreneur is so unique, and I've had many fantastic business mentors. They've played an incredible role in my life, but sometimes I have to take their advice with a grain of salt. Maybe they weren't entrepreneurs, but they're incredible salespeople, incredible ops people, or strong legal people. If they weren't entrepreneurs, they don't necessarily know what you're going through, what I went through. And, you know, take that advice with a grain of salt, but still get a lot of it because it's, you know, it's really important. And then industry advice. You know, I think that in industries where you want to disrupt and build new products, it's super important to have people who really get the space, but it's also important not to be too encumbered by it as well. You know, you're all at a point in time where a very large market is, you know, open to new ideas, open to different ways of thinking. The more radical your way of thinking, the more likely it will meet resistance. And that's not necessarily bad. Don't be brazen, don't be, you know, assumptive that you are right, but, you know, I think that don't always look for an acknowledgement that you're right as well, because the reality is it's probably somewhere in between, and those incremental improvements that you can make it kind of falling in between are probably big opportunities as well. You know, with all that, 25 years, I did primarily IoT and e-commerce. IoT to me has been a passion of mine. Smart home, any connected device has been a passion of mine for a long time. Throughout that path, I always felt that data was important, and I knew that there would be B2B plays in that data. I didn't know much about insurance, but along two of the startups, I actually reviewed a couple of business plans I did call out the potential for insurance. I think probably they were always too early. The data wasn't robust enough or reliable enough. The IoT ecosystem wasn't, really ready for that. But I've been very fortunate and privileged along the way to, have opportunities to learn. In the last couple of years, I've felt like that ecosystem, the insurance ecosystem, has really warmed up to a lot of these innovations, particularly around IoT and data. As I mentioned, I think it's an incredibly opportunistic time for new ideas and new plays in the space. And that's really the crux of what I'm doing now at Comcast, and focusing kind of on IoT and insurance, and we'll kind of get into that. Which direction should I go next?
I want to make a quick introduction here. We're talking about your experiences. If I understand correctly, back when you were an entrepreneur, you actually prospected into selling to Comcast your solutions. So how did that go?
Yeah, it went terrible. So I was a pretty ambitious young man who, over my 5 startups, had 2 that had, I thought, appeal to Comcast. And I'm aggressive, so I will get meetings just about anywhere. I spent a lot of time and energy trying to sell 2 energy management oriented solutions in IoT to Comcast over the course of probably 4 years, many meetings with lots of different people. And none of them ever succeeded in a deal. But I did learn a lot, and I learned a couple of things about the process, which I'm trying to institutionalize at Comcast, but they were all really, critical learnings in kind of my growth, and will no doubt be huge parts of, my future as I go on to start new companies at some point in my life. And I reflected a little bit about some of those learnings before this opportunity to speak. One, it's certainly a long game. While I didn't win a deal with Comcast, I did win deals with very large other companies. Honeywell, Johnson Controls, like big companies along the way. And I think to some degree, my experiences with Comcast helped me learn how to be a better kind of partner, a better advocate for my technology, a better salesperson for my technologies. But definitely play a long game. You will not have a meeting with a company of any material size and have it close immediately. It just doesn't happen. Another thing that I realized along the way is find a sponsor. I, in many of these companies, would do kind of random meetings with random people because they would take a LinkedIn connection or they would take an email, but that doesn't necessarily mean they were going to sponsor you and stand behind you. And to be successful, you absolutely need somebody to champion you who sees your vision and sees how and why it'll work. And then probably 2 other points, bigger isn't always better. We're a Fortune 50 company. I learned on the outside coming in a lot of the lessons that I took and then applied to much smaller companies, some even competition, to be candid. And, frankly, there were hungrier companies out there. There were companies who had more urgency to move quickly. There were companies that were more ready for new ideas and more ready for third parties to come to them. And again, learning against the Comcast was great, but operationalizing it against a company that was more ready for that, was probably a valuable output. And then lastly, and certainly most importantly, just a lesson learned, you have to take the perspective of who you're pitching. And I was the worst at this, and I've really come a long way, I think, and this is something I mentor a lot of startups, and I really advise them a lot on. First of all, if you have a prospect in mind because you know that they could benefit from your technology, just start by getting to know who they are. It blows my mind how many companies call me who really have no idea who Comcast is. And, it's sad, and it blows a good opportunity when you don't know the basics. You should be able to spend 24 hours, read investor reports, read, press releases, read our website, and understand what our pressures are, what our opportunities are, where our pain points are. Public companies like us talk about these openly, and you should be prepared to come in and address these. And it sounds like it's so obvious, but I'll tell you, I'm talking to a startup a week probably right now, and I would tell you the majority do not have that background. And then as you pitch us, take the perspective of where we need help. So, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs come to me and they say something like, if you just put my product on your truck, I could sell millions of them. It hasn't worked, it's never worked, it won't work. And it's more importantly, it serves no purpose to us. If you came to us and say, I think I can generate 20 million in new business for you. We did 120 billion in revenue last year. So an incremental 20 million or over 5 years is very small. I'm not telling you that we don't look at those things, but the relative magnitude of, you know, size is so night and day that it's hard to get the attention. But if you came to us and said, hey, I see you're the #1 internet provider in the world and you want to be bigger and you want to be better at serving internet, and I've got a product that makes your internet even better, that's actually more impressive to a Comcast than it is, you know, generating new revenue, unless you're coming to us with $1 billion, which is, you know, unlikely for a startup. Or say video, right? Everybody talks about cord cutting today. If you came to us and say, we have a solution that no one will ever cord cut again, of course we'd be interested in hearing what that solution is. So, you know, I really, through my efforts to pitch Comcast and through my denials from them, I kind of learned, and candidly, I called Comcast one day, a close friend of mine who became a mentor along the way, and I told him I was thinking about joining a company. I never worked for anyone in my life after 25 years, and I felt like I was missing something. I didn't understand something, and he said, join Comcast and you'll learn how to be the best B2B entrepreneur ever when you go to do your future startups. And remarkably, I'm 3.5 years, I'm still here, really enjoying it, loving the way that we're growing as a company, loving the engagement. But he was right. I can see in retrospect now all the mistakes I made kind of getting into the company, and I'm trying to apply them now as I work with new startups as well as I create innovation in the company.
No, that's definitely amazing. So some great tips on how to work with complex organizations like Comcast. Thanks, Dave. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about how the current market situation has shaped Comcast's strategy.
Yeah, so I can't talk broadly. I can talk more in the areas that I'm in. I've served in the home security business, the internet business, and now I lead innovation for insurance-oriented applications. I am on a broader strategy group. I do work in strategy in other areas as well, but the insurance and warranty space is pretty much, you know, run by me. We entered in insurance about 3 years ago. The thesis, as I mentioned earlier, was that connected devices would drive a different engagement environment with insurance, not only P&C, but also life and health, you know, wearables, obviously in the P&C, telematics, as well as home. So there's a lot of opportunities here. We have a huge small business and medium business enterprise as well. But, you know, basically as the largest internet provider out there, I felt like we had an opportunity to partake in that ecosystem in some way. We made a large investment in Hippo Home Insurance, who you're probably familiar with. That's not the area I run. I did diligence with the ventures guys, but what I run, say on the Hippo side, is distribution and partnerships. So if you're in our footprint, you do get periodic emails from us that talks about smart home and smart home insurance and how Comcast is working towards pioneering smart home insurance. We're now doing that with Hippo, and we're now expanding that strategy. As we look at the current environment, you know, holistically, not like say a COVID type situation, but say a broader, you know, connectivity environment, global connectivity. We see connectivity as, you know, the underlying tenet of everything. We see incredible opportunity for growth. We see ourselves as a much more strategic partner than just simply providing a pipe to the home. We want to be a solutions provider to companies and also consumers. And as we look at a portfolio in this current ecosystem, we see P&C insurers, we see startups, we see consumers who need technology. They need technology assistance, they need reliability, and they need to know that as products and services enter the home, enter their lives in some way, that, you know, it will be supported, it will be reliable, it can be enterprise grade. So we think it's an incredible time and incredible opportunity. COVID in particular actually accelerated all that. You know, work from home has changed the dynamics of our business, the dynamics of every business. It's been an amazing experience. We all moved very quickly. I mean, we're a 200,000 person organization, and you know, all of us had a change in the way we do business and how we service our clients, how we build our networks. And we've responded really well. And now we're looking, there are new opportunities here. And again, I think there's new opportunities for this whole cohort that are really exciting.
So one of the overarching themes that we've discussed here is obviously connectivity at home. But what about outside the home?
Yeah, outside home is obviously just as exciting as well. You mentioned 5G. We're looking closely at 5G, of course. We do have a large mobile play. We've got about 2 million mobile subs now. Maybe it's a little bit less, I can't remember. We also have 18 million Wi-Fi hotspots across the United States. I can't get into too much detail, but I will tell you that all of the devices in the world that need connectivity, there are players from mobility, from systems, from new products that are looking to us for mobility, for other connectivity solutions. We also own a portfolio of companies that have alternative, out-of-home wireless technologies, both communication and device controls. I mean, we even own Universal Parks, and Universal is exploring all kinds of, connectivity and new features with customers. So I think that, there are incredible technologies. Satellite, I mean, you're seeing a lot about satellite right now, which we don't have a play in, but, I'm encouraged to see the market as a whole rise. I think, in fact, this would be my advice to a certain degree. You can assume connectivity will be everywhere. There are huge gaps right now. There's huge underserved markets that I think as a nation and a world, we have a responsibility to figure out how to get those people that are broadband. It's actually scary how much the United States does not have reliable connectivity right now. And, we're committed to solving that. And I think all of our competitors are as well, not for business reasons, but just because we believe everybody in the world has to have this, it's critical. But at the same time, I think the opportunity for assuming that everything will be connected is there. So as an entrepreneur, I would encourage you to just assume the connectivity will be in place, and there will be partners, be it through a large company like us or one of our many competitors or upstarts who are trying to dethrone us, that there will be opportunities to work with all of us. And sometimes it may be with a deep partnership, or it might just be using our services in some kind of, business and arrangement. And that's all good, but the connectivity will be there. There's no doubt about it.
Excellent. Looks like our CEO, Saeed Amini, just joined us. Hi, Saeed.
Hi, Eugenio. David, it's a great meeting you on Zoom. And thank you for sharing your entrepreneurial journey. I have tried to sell products to huge companies, and it's always a challenge. But, having 30 million internet subscriber is like the entrepreneur's dream. And if, for example, people have some sort of insurance product or some sort of, security, especially now because people use homes as offices too. So you could, there is a new law in California that you could expense your rent, I think it's up to 40% if you use it as an office. But is there like a example of you working with a startup that created a big business for Comcast and created a big business for the startup? We are quite familiar with Hippo, but is there any other ones that you can share with the audience?
Sure. So
Great meeting you. It's great meeting you.
Likewise, and thank you for having me. As I said earlier, I've worked with the organization for some time, and I've worked with many portfolio companies. It's a great group, so thank you. So, as I said earlier, approaching Comcast, it's challenging, or any big company, it's very challenging. And I thought I had a solution that would drive a lot of value to Comcast in 2 different startups. And despite meeting lots of great people who took me under their wing and helped me, I was unsuccessful in actually getting either of those products into Comcast. Although when I went down to smaller companies, I had a lot more success. And as I mentioned, I learned a lot from the process. We've done a variety of acquisitions. I can't think of anybody related to the P&C space, but recently we've done some, pretty significant like cybersecurity type applications or acquisitions, managed network services acquisitions. I don't know what I can mention, what I can't, because I don't always remember what's public. But many of these are companies that started in the same place as your cohort. They built products and services, and they eventually became valuable to Comcast for multi-hundred million-dollar acquisitions. Or Sky, who we acquired a year and a half ago for $49 billion overseas. But I think the play there, as I mentioned earlier, is it's very challenging for a small company to say, oh, we'll generate 20 million in new business if you sell us as an adjunct. We have 4 core lines of business, basically: internet, video, home security, and voice, both IP telephony as well as mobile telephony. You pretty much, all of which have millions of subscribers. You basically need to approach us more with an approach of, we'll add value to one of those lines of business, versus if you put us in a truck or sold us in a call center, we don't make a lot of money. Our call center reps manage, millions of calls a month, and it's usually people calling about connectivity issues or pricing or, packaging. The last thing one of these reps have time to do or motivated to do is to sell, oh, and by the way, I have a new widget. Or even our techs in the home. Techs in the home are, trained to be high quality customer service people who get in and out. No one wants the Comcast tech hanging out in their house, pitching them on other products. So those kinds of venues don't work. Now, if they're complementary, and I can use Hippo as an example here, the thesis was always that smart home would drive better insurance products. And Hippo built rates that support that. So we can say with confidence now to our customers, if you use smart home technology, you will save with some carriers. And we're now talking to many carriers outside of Hippo as well, which is well known. And in fact, we just recently made an acquisition. We bought a company called Notion, who is the sensor company that Hippo actually uses in their deployments. We acquired Notion about 2.5 months ago. We saw great things with their deployments with Hippo. And we said that was additive to our insurance strategy. It's additive to our smart home strategy. We knew the Notion team, we felt good about them, and we made an acquisition. So I don't think there's one formula, but I definitely think you have to, if you're going for somebody as big as Comcast, 120 billion in revenue, the approach has to be more around how you'll drive more value to our existing businesses versus, hey, I could be an add-on that you could sell and make a lot of money, or you should be expanding your portfolio. People like myself, we explore these things all the time, and I do champion a lot of startups in the space, but it's a long process. There are projects that we're working on for years in that area.
Similar to smoke alarm, we had a company called Flow that was leak
Flow very well, yeah. Yep.
Leak detection. And we feel like, I think it was State Farm or Farmers Insurance that worked with Flow. We feel that it reduces damage and liability, but we love Comcast in the middle. So let's say we have a home insurance company, a product like Flow, and Comcast, which provides connectivity in the middle. Yep. I think that way you could reduce the deploying products like Flow at a much higher speed, at much more numbers. I remember when we helped them get the first 10,000 homes, it was like an amazing move for Flow. But imagine if you could get 5 million homes.
Sure.
Through
We know,
Comcast.
yeah, of course. We in the insurance initiative at Comcast know Flow well, and we know all the people in their ecosystem. We know a lot of very innovative players in smoke and fire, theft detection, many of which have been in your program. And I think the key in all these, what I say to a lot of these folks is, we're not going to build the insurance business case. You need to build that insurance business case. But as you become better and better at that, we see more opportunities to work with carriers to actually become more of a B2B play. For instance, we have hundreds of millions of IoT devices on our network that we support today. And I meet with carriers almost weekly at this point, and I say to them regularly, I recognize that you may have an innovation lab or you might be trialing new products, but when you think about scaling to 1 million homes with maybe 20, 30, 40 IoT devices per home, do you have the tens of thousands of technicians that we have that drive around millions of miles? Our fleet does more miles than almost any fleet in the world. Do you have tens of thousands of call center reps who today are answering questions about IoT, even though we're not supposed to be, because we don't even know what the products are? Do you have networks that can see these devices and say, I mean, on our network, if you use some of our products, our customer service reps can see, oh, you have a Flow device. They literally can see that when you're calling in for customer support. So to your point, I think there's incredible partnerships in the pipeline. I think that we will be one of the big players in facilitating this. I think the work that you're doing with startups to help them build those bridges with insurance companies today are critical in that path. And the more success that you can get building rates, building acceptance, building the kind of awareness, the better it'll be for us to all work together, because we'll be the last pole of that, the last straw of that, I'm sure.
Wonderful. Before I turn it over to Eugenia, because I was like a surprise, I was is, like we would love to do a challenge with your fleet. Coincidentally, I run a bottled water delivery with 400 trucks in Spain, which is no comparison to your fleet, but fleet safety, fleet optimization, especially during COVID-19, last mile delivery, the whole touch of reaching these clients. I mean, you don't need to reach your clients unless they are upgrading or there is a installation or a challenge, but we would love a work with your fleet division, with our safety vertical, and somehow optimization of a fleet. But I turn it to Eugenio and you, but again, thank you so much, David, for being
Thank you again. No, I'm flattered. I appreciate it. We'll certainly be talking more.
Thanks. Go ahead, Eugenio.
Thanks, Saeed. So, Dave, lots of things to unpack in that conversation. You mentioned that you guys recently acquired Notion. We all know that the most common exit in the startup industry is actually M&A, not IPO. I was wondering, what are some of the things that you look for in startups in order to acquire them?
Yeah, it's hard to represent Comcast as a whole because we have such diverse interests. I mean, we own NBC, we own Universal. We have millions of internet subscribers who may work very different than our millions of mobile subscribers. So it's hard to create a category. But as an overarching, guidance, big revenue obviously is always helpful, but it's not critical. We've acquired many small companies along the way. In fact, we've acquired many companies that had no revenue. In those cases, they have differentiating IP that will somehow impact one of our core areas. You can look at what we do and you can look at our business and see areas of disruption or opportunity that we may be excited about or maybe scared about. So, IP that could help us in those positions always has a shot at being considered. Market traction in key markets, which could be at a very small scale, but could easily translate to what we're doing, is another area that, could get a quick pickup. So if it's very complementary to our core products, you can see when an entrepreneur comes to us and says, look at the traction I'm getting. If your people were behind it and it's complementary to what you do today, not too far off on the side, look at what we can achieve. Notion's a good example. I mean, I can't get into too many details, but we're very interested in smart home. Obviously, we talk about it. We're obviously very interested in connectivity, and I'm very interested in insurance. Those three pieces were enough to kind of create, you know, a lot of interest in, you know, a move in the space. And candidly, you know, the partnership that they had with Hippo was a great validator for us. It's not formulaic. It wasn't, you know, something that we put into a calculator and said point blank, oh, this makes sense. It was people like me saying, yeah, this will help my business initiative a lot. And I can show where it helps other business initiatives. But again, I think it goes back to those original points that I made about understanding the partner and their business and trying to be additive. You know, if you want us to sell widgets that have nothing to do with our core, I'll tell you, I make the joke a lot, but it's true. So many IoT companies have said, you know, can you just sell us in the call center or sell us in the truck? You'll never have a material impact on our business, even if we were performing at 100%, because it's just not important enough to generate that new revenue. Now, if that piece, like for instance, we have a lot of renters in our portfolio. We've made several investments now in the space for property management, that kind of stuff. And a couple acquisitions actually. And you know, that was opportunistic. Like we saw very early stage companies, we saw mid-stage companies that were making great traction, and we're super focused on that market. So it was very synergistic versus, hey, I'm a little company, you should do this. You don't do any of it today. From a cold start, if you bought us or invested in us, this is where we go. So I think it depends, and I think that you know, just take that perspective in mind as you think about that.
Mm-hmm. Dave, one last question before we have to go. What do you think will be the impact of Comcast on the insurance industry?
Well, I'll speak more broadly about connectivity just because it's hard to represent any one company. I think that internet connectivity will change the entire landscape of insurance. We are going from a predictive to a you know, proactive type model. You know, there's no reason to be reactive anymore. Data shows us where there are potential for losses. Data shows us how to remediate those losses, and a lot of it's real time. And while a lot of it is non-cat focused, even cat, I mean, you're seeing so many innovations in cat prediction, cat modeling off of data. And again, it's that internet connectivity, be it weather stations, be it, you know, user reporting, be it just better AI and ML modeling. These are all areas that insurance companies need connectivity, and there are different layers of services on top of it. I think the impact will be huge. I think that you can work with assumptions now that everything with a microprocessor will be connected. You know, there's no reason to roll the truck anymore when the dishwasher breaks, because you can do remote diagnostics on it. That alone will change the entire warranty industry alone. I had one of the largest warranty CEOs in my office, and he said 50% of the time we roll a truck with the wrong parts. That should never happen. Even today, that should never happen, let alone in a year with connectivity. So I think the entire industry will be changed. I think this is an incredible time to assume that connectivity and data will be there. And I think that there isn't an insurance carrier or reinsurer who's not actively looking how connectivity changes their solution. Where a company like Comcast plays in the ecosystem, I think it's TBD, but you know, I think 5G will be huge, Wi-Fi is huge, you know, very high speed, always on, zero latency connectivity is core to all of this. And I feel very confident that folks like us will play a big part of that ecosystem, but only if entrepreneurs in the space help us innovate and help us create and help us realize how to provide value-added services, both to our customers as well as to potential insurance B2B partners.
Amazing. Dave, thank you so much for being here with us today. Really appreciate it and really enjoy the chat and your insights.
Likewise, and I'd love to be a resource to entrepreneurs. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I do ask if you do connect with me on LinkedIn and you have something specific you want to talk about, just kind of let me know. I get a lot of LinkedIn requests, so I don't know who a lot of people are. I try to be good about that. So just say I saw you, plug and play. I'd love to chat with you at some point. And, just be patient and work really hard and, participate in great programs like this. And I appreciate being a resource here. So thank you very much for the opportunity to participate.
Thank you so much again. So we'll pass it now on to Rachel, our amazing program manager. Back to you, Rachel.
Great. Thank you so much, Eugenio, and thank you, Dave. Really great stuff, and happy to have you on board. All right. So now, without any further ado, we're going to start our startup portion. But a few things that I want to mention, a few housekeeping while you're tuning in. Please remain muted throughout the session. You can use the Q&A, raise your hand, chat features in your bottom toolbar if there are any questions or if you need any help. And remember to use Brella to connect with our startups. Next slide, Jonathan, please. You can actually take your phone to the QR code. Don't be shy if you're not on Brella yet to sign up for some meetings with these guys. So without any further ado, our first startup, we're going to hear from Parametrix.
Hi, my name is Netta. I'm a co-founder at Parametrix, and I'd like to tell you about the biggest growing risk that businesses are facing today. A business's infrastructure is no longer their own. Businesses build themselves on top of third-party applications like cloud computing, web hosting, payment systems, ISPs, and more. And if even part of this critical infrastructure goes down, so does the business. This problem alone leads to businesses losing over $700 billion every year. And these losses consist of direct revenue losses, heavy recovery expenses, lost productivity, intangible costs like brand, and lastly, but most importantly, SLA liability towards your customers. And each year, as the reliance on third-party services grows, the exposure grows with it. And downtime insurance today just doesn't cut it. There's already an accumulation of risk under errors and omission, liability, and cyber insurance. Third-party downtime is usually excluded, restricted completely. Business interruption claims are expensive. Bringing in forensics teams, it's really complex and difficult to adjust. The underwriting process is complicated as well, especially when you go company by company basis. And not only that, but there's really no insight into the existing accumulation. Different service providers have different risks that are associated with them. And if we take a look at how they're spread, and this is an example of the cloud, you see that not only are there different service providers, but each offers multiple regions and multiple services within that region. And each one is associated with a different risk. Up until today, there was no data to show insight into the different risks and exposures that each service provider, region, and service has. But we've collected this data. And with it, we've created parametric downtime insurance. And I'd like to introduce Rainy Day. And the way it works is like this. There's a predetermined coverage, we monitor for downtime, and when downtime occurs, we can compensate the customer very quickly. And not only that, but we have a coverage that includes many exposures to hedge a business's external risk. So cloud, e-commerce payments, ISP, all in one coverage. But the way that we achieve our parametric nature isn't that easy. We've developed really unique technology in-house. One is our external monitoring system that monitors the performance and availability of the services we insure. Not only that, but it also collects data down to the millisecond, and that data is fed into our massive database, which is later used for our actuarial models and pricing. In addition to that, we also have a risk exposure algorithm to make sure we quantify and manage our exposure and accumulation of risk. An important note is that our external monitoring system monitors externally. So we're able to monitor the service performance and availability without the customer having to install or inject any code onto their systems. Creates an objective event, streamlines the onboarding process, and most importantly, makes sure that there's no room for the customer to influence the risk. And not only that is unique, but also our distribution. In addition to the traditional broker route, we also have a non-traditional distribution, selling through service providers and IT consulting firms. We've created a product that has key benefits for all the players in the field. creating a win-win situation for the customer, the insurer, and the service provider. Thank you very much for your time.
Perfect. And if you want to connect with Netta and the team, they are based in Israel, so I recommend getting on Brella now before they all head to bed for the night. So thanks so much. And next up, RiskWolf.
Hi, my name is Thomas. I'm the CEO and co-founder of RiskWolf. In June 2000, I started in the insurance industry, exactly 20 years back. Today I look back with one sad and one happy eye. Happy because the industry has moved on and remained a strong cornerstone in our economies, despite all the challenges it had to face. Sad because most insurers still catch up with technology and technologies introduced 20 years ago. Whereas today, banking and securities trading, for instance, are fully digitized, insurers still try to figure out how risks, clients, data, and capital can be brought together more efficiently. RiskWolf is the platform that ensures the digital economy. RiskWolf's vision is to make enterprises more resilient. We provide insurance protection for digital risks that are underserved by traditional insurance. Globally, we are facing a seismic shift. The core fabric of our economy, the way we work, commute, travel, and consume, is transforming right before our eyes. The key driver for these changes has been the digitization of our lives. Consumers, businesses, processes, devices, and data are all interconnected. As a result of this ongoing transformation, new risks are emerging. For instance, higher utilization leads to stress to the internet, causing more frequent outages. To create coverage for these risks, a new type of insurance is necessary. Innovative products must be data-driven and digitally native. They must protect high-frequency events, which can be objectively measured and parameterized at low costs. RiskWolf collaborates with two of the world's leading real-time data providers to ensure the best insights into internet data intelligence. Casper Datahouse checks tens of thousands of internet-connected devices globally to get a sense how well the internet connectivity is in a particular region. We round up this data with endpoint and end-to-end measures from our second data provider. With both sources, RiskWolf is able to generate strong statistical indexes that can drive data-driven insurance policies while reducing information asymmetry and basis risk. Together with Powerwit, the #1 non-life insurer in Vietnam, we are designing a single peril insurance product to cover e-commerce outages in Vietnam. These policies allow us to provide coverage for both supply-side and demand-side outages. RiskWolf is also creating a multiple peril product to protect food delivery drivers in India. This product covers internet connectivity outages, lost revenue to the weather conditions, and service cancellations for the drivers. RiskWolf accomplishes this on its fully automated platform that enables data-driven product innovations for insurers. In collaboration with our clients, we design, test, and operate innovative products tailored for digital businesses. The benefits to our partners are clear. Shorter product innovation cycles, targeting idea to market within weeks, top-line growth due to access to the emerging pools of new digital risks, and third, bottom-line savings due to fully automated innovation on operations on the platform. In order to support our activities, we continue to augment our remote-first organization. Our teammates are located in 7 countries across 5 time zones. This physical presence allows RiskWolf to connect more easily to the most relevant partners in every region. RiskWolf's target for the next few years: support the new emerging businesses with the right type of insurance coverage. If you are targeting growth opportunities in the coverage of the digital economy and are interested in our innovative approach, please reach out to us. Thank you very much.
Big thanks to Thomas and the team over at RiskWolf. And next up, we have Accurate.
Hi everyone, I'm Anne. I'm COO of Accurate. Over the past weeks, I shared with you how Accurate is revolutionizing insurance pricing with transparent AI. Accurate helps insurance companies accelerate their reactivity and meet consumers' real-time expectations with a pricing automation solution that is unique on the market. We have a large number of large international P&C insurers using our solution in production for their technical pricing. We closed our $9 million Series A in February with international VCs Blackfin Capital Partners and MTech Capital to continue to grow and expand in Europe, Asia, and in the US. So how does Accurate work? Traditional insurance pricing is a lengthy, manual, and iterative process. It can take months for insurance companies to update the price of a car or health insurance policy or to launch new products. Although it sounds like a textbook application for AI, traditional machine learning technologies cannot be used in production for this use case as they are inherently black box. A black box approach is unacceptable for all insurance regulators worldwide. They demand transparency and auditability of insurance pricing models. Our R&D team spent 4 years of effort to overcome this challenge. They managed to develop proprietary machine learning algorithms that automate the generation of risk models in a fully transparent way, making them absolutely compliant with regulatory and filing requirements. Accurate is the only company on the market with the technology to solve this challenge. This is a major game changer for the insurance pricing landscape. What do our clients gain with Accurate? The accelerated pricing time to market is the wow factor for our clients. They can literally generate pricing models that used to take 3 months in just 3 hours. They no longer have to endure months of data preparation and modeling by pricing teams before they can launch a new product or update the price of a policy. Along with faster pricing agility comes the increased predictive power of the models generated with Accurate that positively impacts the loss ratio. How did COVID-19 impact this situation over recent weeks? The feedback we got from our clients is that they have been impacted in major ways. First, falling premium volumes and downward pressure on loss ratios, which is forcing insurers to develop new products and reprice existing products. Second, increased expectations from consumers, especially in terms of reactivity and to market. And third, huge challenges in terms of business continuity. In order to remain competitive and profitable, insurance companies need to react very fast. Our clients using Accurate reported that it's really been a key asset for them. First, faster risk modeling enables to adjust your prices or bring new value propositions to the market at an accelerated pace. Second, increased predictive power of risk models, i.e. better risk assessment, allows to monitor loss ratio impacts in a more accurate way. Third, modeling automation that guarantees full transparency of the outputs has been an efficient productivity tool. And last but not least, Accurate being a cloud-based, fully collaborative solution, it is a game changer as far as remote working and business continuity are concerned. At Accurate, we noticed a 300% increase in the number of models being run by our clients during the lockdown period, proof that their pricing teams were fully at work. What we have been able to confirm with both our clients and prospects is that Accurate is really a quick win solution to empower insurers during these challenging times, with instant impact, totally seamless integration, and no upfront cost. If insurance companies want to come out on top of this crisis, they need Accurate. We're looking forward to bringing our solution to even more insurance partners, so ping us if you're interested. Thank you.
Great, and Anne and Sam have been wonderful through this batch and are working on some really cool things. If you remember them from our weekly webinar series here in the Insurtech program. So please reach out to them, find them on Umbrella, happy to connect you if I can as well. And next up, we're gonna hear from DynaRisk.
Hi there, my name is Andrew Martin and I'm the founder and CEO of DynaRisk. Consumers and small businesses really struggle with protecting themselves online. Up to 60% of SMEs who suffer a cyber attack will go out of business within 6 months. Consumers and small businesses lack the time, resources, and expertise to protect themselves. Insurance companies need innovation. Cyber insurance policies are a commodity. It's the risk management tools and services that are part of these policies which differentiate them and lead to lower claims. This is why we've created DynaRisk Breach Defense, an all-in-one cyber risk management platform that insurers provide to their cyber insurance policyholders for a few reasons which I'll discuss in a minute. The platform is very easy to get started with. It's cloud-based, requires no technical information or knowledge to get started. All we need is an email address. Our core security capabilities include continuously discovering a company's assets, so we're making sure we monitor the right things. We scan for leaked or stolen information that's being traded by cyber criminals. Or we monitor inside those hacker communities to see if they actually discuss hacking that particular company. We also scan their assets for known vulnerabilities so the company can proactively protect themselves and not get hacked. We also include employee awareness training and a simulated phishing simulator so that employees will reduce their likelihood of clicking on links that they shouldn't. All of this is wrapped together with our easy-to-use cyber risk management dashboard and our cyber risk experts available via live chat to help companies out. For consumers, we have our DynaRisk Home product. Again, a 360-degree tool which will help consumers not fall victim to cybercrime. Again, it's hosted in the cloud, and we also have native mobile apps for iOS and Android that can be deployed as well. The product includes vulnerability scanning, dark web monitoring, phishing simulation, and again, access to our cybersecurity experts to help consumers improve their level of cyber safety. Insurers benefit in a number of ways by using our tools. The first is we'll help you win net new business. Our clients consistently win new distribution opportunities for their policies over competitors as a result of our embedding our tool set in their policies. We'll also help you reduce claims. Some of our insurance clients forecast up to 50% reductions in their loss ratios as a result of using our products. We can help them prevent ransomware attacks and Office 365 account takeovers within their insurance. And lastly, we'll help you retain clients. Clients may never make a claim on your policy, but they will use our tool for hopefully many years, leading them to renew the policy when it comes up. We're helping insurance companies write over $120 million of new cyber GWP using our products. Getting into a few specific use cases, we work with Access Capital, both in the US and in Europe, who are providing our risk management tools to their SME book of business. We're working with Delta Insurance in New Zealand and Singapore to help them provide risk management tools to, again, their small business book of business, but also their consumer cybersecurity product. And we're working with Chubb all across Europe on their consumer cybersecurity product for distribution via telecommunications providers, and also their small business cyber insurance products that they have. The proof is in our data. We know the platform works. On the left, you'll see when users first sign up, they have a normally distributed score on our platform, and then after a couple of months, all the scores have shifted to the right, and we have now very few high-risk users on the platform. If you'd like to find out more, please contact me at andrew@dynarisk.com or reach out to us through Plug and Play. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Andrew. And next up, Human.
Hi, my name is Peter. I'm a co-founder at Human. Our mission is to improve safety for commercial fleets through data-derived risk management and dynamically priced insurance. How do you meet a challenge like this? With a full-stack commercial fleet insurance platform that actually works by managing risks and aligning incentives providing the tools that help fleets deliver people and goods safely. Commercial fleet insurance represents $192 billion in gross written premiums globally, and is the only motor insurance sector forecast to grow as personal car ownership declines. However, insurance for high mileage fleets is broken. Demand is increasing, but capacity withdrawing. This is because commercial fleet insurers lose almost $9 billion a year, with combined ratios in 2019 of 114%. Those ratios are due to years of underpricing frequency and severity of events, but also poor underwriting selection due to the opacity of the underlying users and a growing number of inexperienced drivers in the gig economy and these rapidly growing logistics fleets. However, our platform has fixed it. Our pilot was delivered within the rideshare segment with very high mileage vehicles and inexperienced drivers. The human risk management and dynamic pricing enabled a much more sophisticated risk selection and intervention. These combined to reduce frequency and severity of claims. Auto leases vehicles to Uber drivers. Those drivers deliver 50,000 people a day to their destinations in London. And using our platform, he was able to improve those outcomes. Intervening and training to reduce harsh braking by 15 times. And that's the beginning of the chain that leads to reduced claims costs and incidents, improving the claims cost by 24%. How do we do this? With our RiskOS tech stack, which is cloud native, secure, with live streaming data. We use proprietary risk maps. These can identify not only the location of an incident, of course, but the intersections and locations where accidents are more likely to happen. We then overlay dynamic risk factors, the pedestrian footfall, the traffic, the weather, to create the environmental score. Through this, our telematic device agnostic platform then can do driver behavior and event detection. We can identify both the near miss or the soft kiss, the mailbox, for example. This insight and scoring delivers actions to the risk manager to intervene and improve outcomes. We incentivize that intervention through dynamically priced insurance, paying for true exposure on a real-time basis, making the fleet manager earn their discount. We've created the policy from underwriting to pricing, including real-time cost reconciliation per vehicle and first notification of loss, passing those benefits or costs on and supporting the insurer's robust return. We founded this business in 2017, began placing policies in 2019, writing almost $1 million in gross written premium. We closed a seed funding round at the beginning of 2020, and are now looking to grow our capacity and network from our 2 pilot fleets within ride sharing to other commercial motor sectors. And we've opened up an additional funding round and would be very keen to speak to any investors or insurers who are interested in exploring the human platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Peter and the team based in London. Next up, we have Planch.
My name is Omri, and I lead the business development here at Planch. Planch offers artificial intelligence data platform for commercial insurance, helping carriers to minimize underwriting expense ratio, reduce loss ratios, and increase commercial premiums by integrating Planch into core insurance processes, all the way from submission processes via underwriting up to real-time exposure management, as well as improving actuarial models by providing additional risk insights that are external to the data on file. In order to create insights, all that Planch needs is the business name and its address. Then, using open web data mining capabilities, Planch collects all the available data pieces about that entity so it can process each and every data piece and extract valuable information out of them. And then the last phase of the insights creation, Planch takes into consideration all the extracted information in order to create the actual truth about the business for each and every risk factor. Here are a few use cases. Each impacts the insurance KPIs a bit differently, and I'd like to put them in 3 buckets. The submission process, the underwriting process, and then the last 2 I'll put under the periodic processes that either happen once a year upon renewal or more frequently. In today's customer and agent-centric era, a lot of carriers choose to focus on improving the submission experience either by pre-filling the submissions with accurate data. So even if agent or insurer decide to skip some of the fields, the default is actually the correct answer. And even better, if someone decides to change any of the pre-filled answers, it will put a spotlight on that change. The 2-question quoting is similar in terms of its values, but instead of pre-filling the form, Planch's data is being sent directly to the raters, so a quote can be returned in no time. Under the underwriting use cases, we can see the submission validation. So instead of having the underwriter to manually scrape the internet and try to validate the submission or the application, Planch provides the underwriter with the actual answers and any differences between the application and reality. So the underwriter can focus on assessing the risk. And then we have what I call the periodic use cases that you can choose to run once a year upon renewals or every other quarter or any other sequence to monitor any changes in eligibility or anything else that could impact the premium. Obviously, during the COVID times that we see major changes in a lot of businesses, this is one of the benefits that our customers get so they can understand their exposure and change in their book in real time. Planch offers between dozens to hundreds of insights for over 50 different business segments covering all commercial line of businesses. So not only that you can get insights or answers for standard application questions, but working closely with actuarial team and in-depth analysis of past claims, Planch provides also new predictive insights that are highly correlated with a risk, but weren't part of the data you have on file. Last week, Planch announced its B round, bringing total investment at the company to $28 million by leading investors, including 2 additional strategic investors such as Nationwide and HDI Global. Thank you very much for listening. Feel free to contact me at omri, O-M-R-I, @planchData.com. Thank you.
Great, and huge congratulations to Omri, Elad, and the team over at Planch. And next up, we have Dorothy.
%80 of the US population live in areas exposed to natural hazards, including flood, tornado, wildfire, and earthquake. I'm Ariana Armelli, the co-founder and CEO of Dorothy. We provide natural disaster and geographic data to reduce risk and simplify legacy processes. The problem we address is that natural disasters are increasing. They are also getting more severe and they affect your business. Whether you're an insurance carrier pricing policies, a broker issuing them, or a property owner. Problem number 1 is the lack of accurate data. Right now, FEMA flood maps only capture 25% of the perceived risk for US-based properties. If you're an underwriter, you are likely pricing these policies based off of data that is incredibly hard to find, collect, organize, and maintain, which brings us to cost. In the last decade, insured losses for natural disaster events quadrupled. What we are seeing in the industry is a chain reaction where the insurer is mispricing policies, brokers and agents are seeing increased errors and emissions claims, and property owners are either entirely uninsured or severely undercovered. So we've developed a solution that analyzes, enhances, and streamlines all of your disaster data on a single platform. First, we have gathered geographic data from a broad range of trusted sources. Then we've developed a proprietary ML-based technology that utilizes this data to enhance and improve risk prediction, ultimately creating new risk-based data layers. We've then integrated this data into a unified platform for our clients to create dynamic risk reports in order to simplify and streamline the underwriting process. Our product allows clients access to preset geographic data layers as well as Dorothy prediction layers. You can generate dynamic reports by adding the data layers that are relevant to your analysis. You can also upload additional data that is unique to your business, for example, past claims. Our platform will reevaluate the risk in real time based on the data sets that are added and generate a report for your use. Our platform utilizes machine learning to build and structure custom data sets that produce unique risk insights, and we aim to be fully inclusive of all natural disaster-based risk. To prove our technology, we conducted a use case looking at Houston, Texas as precedent. Our technology was able to predict the flood extents of Hurricane Harvey 60% more accurately than FEMA, which equates to approximately 100,000 properties. Since COVID, we've accelerated our data pipeline to also include pandemic and protest-based risk. We are working with insurance carriers issuing umbrella policies for the $92 billion excess and surplus lines market. Although insuring disaster-related risk might seem like a non-starter, it's actually quite a profitable market, with written premiums increasing consistently 10% over the last couple of years. We are a diverse team of technical founders with backgrounds in architecture, planning, engineering, and data science. We each hold 10 years of experience in our respective fields, and co-founders Ariana and Claudio have previously started other companies before Dorothy. We are currently raising $750,000 of investment to increase our data pipeline and scale our current technology to national coverage. Why work with Dorothy now? The outbreak of COVID-19 accelerated technology trends in the excess and surplus lines market that were already in motion in other insurance sectors. In order to maintain commercial market share, insurers will need creative ways to attract new customers, quicker and accurate underwriting, and access to more current risk data. Our response to COVID has been to incorporate new data onto our platform in order to increase predictions for new types of risk. We have also accelerated our data capacity to include municipality-level resilience and economic recovery time for commercial business. We've gotten some great press, including making finalists for 3 global competitions, winning one in a feature in Risk and Insurance magazine, and most recently, a member of the Plug and Play Insurtech family. We are Dorothy. Thanks for your time, and feel free to reach out to me directly with any questions. Thanks.
Great stuff from Dorothy. And reminder again to head on over to Brella, where our startups are online today, chatting and setting up some meetings. If you didn't get a chance to catch the QR code, feel free to shoot us a chat, shoot us a question, and I can send through some information there. But next up, we have Riskbook.
Hello, everyone. We're the Riskbook team. And instead of preparing a structured deck for us to go through today, we thought it'd be more valuable for us to give an off-the-cuff fireside chat about our experience with Plug and Play. Before we jump into that, I thought it'd be helpful if Ben gave us a really quick overview of the reinsurance industry that we're operating in.
Thanks, Jared. So absolutely right. Riskbook, reinsurance industry focused. It's a $200 billion a year industry where brokers help insurance companies to structure these unique products built up of many different layers and to share those with the reinsurance markets, who in turn are looking to take a small percentage of lots of different exposures, catastrophes, cyber attacks, and so on. But at the moment, those brokers, as Jared experienced, only really have emails and spreadsheets to help them with this.
Yeah, and placing reinsurance business for a broker right now is incredibly painful. Because you're working with such large clients, you oftentimes have dozens, if not hundreds of counterparties. And managing these huge placements through emails and spreadsheets to keep track of the business is enormously painful and time consuming. What's more is once a placement is done, you spend another several weeks building out audit trails and this additional administrative work. And we wanted to really tackle the pain point that brokers go through with our core product.
The process is not pretty on the underwriter side either, whether you're the insurance company buying or the reinsurance company taking on the risk. And that's something we've been able to delve into way more with Plug and Play, with some of the great companies that have been helping us along the way as mentors and supporters. So thank you to you guys. In particular, one of the things that Riskbook is really focusing on now is getting much better data flowing through that process from the original underlying insurance company to the reinsurers, so that instead of getting free text emails telling them what the program looks like, you're getting a rich data structured submission coming into you as an underwriter. The same across all of your different brokers, not just a different one for all 150.
And the structured data piece is incredibly important. But what's more is the ability for underwriters to access risks from around the world. When we caught up in California a few months ago, we painted this vision of hyperconnectivity and the ability for brokers to find underwriters from anywhere in the world and to support those underwriters in accessing risks far easier than they do now. We're incredibly excited about the progress that we've made, already connecting North American reinsurers with South African brokers and London brokers with reinsurers and clients in the US. And this is just part of our journey. But as we look to build a global market, we also recognize players that are important and have a deep standing relationship in the industry, like Lloyd's of London.
Yeah, and in fact, we have a fantastic update on the Lloyd's side. So we're really pleased to announce that as of April, we are now the only independent platform approved for e-placing reinsurance with Lloyd's of London. So this means that all of those 150 brokers from around the world don't now need to build their own solution in-house. They can take our placing platform off the shelf and start placing risks with Lloyd's compatibly today. So really exciting news for us as we continue to grow Riskbook's offering.
We were incredibly fortunate to be selected to the plug and play cohort. We're incredibly excited about the next several months and years of our business, and as we grow and develop our platform to do more for both brokers, reinsurers, and clients. If you want to be a part of our journey, have an impact on our roadmap, and be involved, please reach out to us at riskbook.com. And thank you all again for your time. Take care and stay safe.
Thanks so much, Ben and Jared. Next up, Benchmark Labs.
Hi, my name is Chris Lund. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Benchmark Labs. At Benchmark, we provide machine learning-based weather forecast for the agricultural, energy, and insurance sectors using a patent-pending approach that reduces operational costs for fixed assets through increased forecast accuracy. The problem with all modern weather forecasts is that they produce a mean forecast for grid cells, but they don't produce forecasts for specific locations within grid cells. The National Weather Service forecast that most of you are probably familiar with has a resolution of approximately 20 kilometers, and everybody within that 20-kilometer grid box gets the exact same forecast. However, conditions within grid cells can and do vary greatly, and as a result, the forecasts are often grossly inaccurate at a particular location. Forecast errors in turn can lead to significant increase in costs. For example, over or under forecasting of generation from wind and solar assets, failure to predict frost events, heat spikes, etc. To solve this problem, we offer machine learning-based weather forecast for your specific asset location using publicly available information from the National Weather Service or other gridded forecast model and real-time data from your in-situ IoT sensor. We combine those two in a neural network and use the observational data to do a sophisticated nonlinear bias correction on the gridded forecast data to arrive at a much more accurate asset-specific forecast. Our early prototype results are quite encouraging. If we look at this is an example of a 2-meter temperature forecast. We see the typical gridded forecasts, error on the left-hand side, an error of roughly 4 degrees Celsius. With our approach, the asset-specific approach we've been discussing, we're able to reduce the error in that temperature forecast by roughly 35 to 40%. There are a number of markets and use cases we've been looking at over the last few months. Assurance, of course. Plug-and-play staff has been great about making introductions to corporate partners. More recently, we've been looking at energy use cases, things like fire weather indice forecasting to day-ahead wind speed and solar radiation forecasts for asset optimization. We use a SaaS annual subscription revenue model. Again, we are hardware agnostic. Our initial pricing is set at $500 per weather station per year. It's a roughly $100 per environmental variable that we're forecasting. And our expected average account size It's roughly 500 devices, or roughly $250,000 per year per customer. We're tackling the problem now because the new sensor technologies that are available, the cloud computing resources, are really reshaping the traditional energy, agriculture, and insurance industries. Machine learning in particular is disrupting traditional weather forecasting. We know that there's an increasing global demand for weather services as weather events become more volatile and costly. And based on a lot of customer discovery, we know that the need is large, valuable, and urgent. So we have a great team. We've made great progress over the last 3 months in the plug and play program. We've initiated our first pilot. I've done quite a bit of customer discovery on the insurance side, again, courtesy of the plug and play staff. We were recently accepted into the Southern California Energy Innovation Network. We've been actively looking at energy use cases and customer discovery. We were recently accepted into the NextView accelerator. We'll be participating in that this summer. We've raised $200K safe, and we have $400K in grant funding pending through the National Science Foundation's SBIR program and the state of California's CalSeed program. Our goal this fall is to be serving forecasts for 1,000 IoT devices, and beginning September, October, we'll be raising our seed round. If you would like to participate in that seed round, or you're a customer that's interested in looking at our forecasts, please reach out. We would love to chat. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Chris, and thanks to Carlos, too, on the team. Next up, our startup from Denver, Glovebox.
Hey everyone, Ryan Matheson here, co-founder and CEO of Glovebox. I hope everybody's doing really well. Quite a bit has changed with the Glovebox platform since we were out in San Francisco in March. We've launched quite a few new agencies. We've gotten some really good data in from those agencies that have been overwhelming in the support of what we're looking to build and continue to build. And we've also iterated some really cool features and functionalities that make agencies very, very excited about our product. So I'm excited to update you guys. I'm going to jump right in because our time is limited. To remind everybody, the core problem that we're solving within the independent insurance channel, and what we know is less than 20% of independent insurance clients actually utilize the service portals of the carriers that they're written with. Our hypothesis is that consumers are really looking for their agencies who they buy from to provide this technology, and the data that we've received back from our first agencies has been an overwhelming support of this hypothesis. And so I'm excited to share that data with you here in a minute. So Glovebox, in its infancy, was really thought of as a self-servicing technology for agents and agencies to leverage. What we've evolved into is a true, full, front-facing platform that agents and agencies can offer their clients that give a true, well-rounded experience of what they're looking to do. The fact that we're the only ones in our vertical that are going directly to the insurance carriers themselves to create this environment for consumers to be able to self-service really makes us versatile in what we can offer. The fact that we offer real-time policy documents and ID cards that are pulling directly from the carrier's systems, the fact that we're looking to offer direct billing for a consumer to be able to make a payment directly to the carrier, but right in their agency's app. Same thing with first notice of loss on claims, whether it be roadside service or otherwise, making it very, very simple for the consumer to report it directly to the carrier, but again, inside the agency's technology. Telematics management, and really aggregating this experience for independent insurance clients, making it simple for them to manage their auto telematics programs, being very omni-channel and communication points that a consumer can leverage, not only talking to the agency, but a carrier as well. Click to call, click to email, direct live chat, our intelligent customer service request flow. And then if an agency is leveraging a carrier's service portal, really being able to effectively direct the communication for the user, making it feel really seamless, is something that we're heavily focused on. And then the front end for agents to leverage with new business, encouraging their clients to refer out their technology to friends and family, leveraging it with referral partners to get more business in the door. So again, a well-rounded experience. This is our core product, and it's called Glovebox Elite. And what we do in an agency is we give the agency themselves their own master branded technology, but then we give each agent within their agency their own custom branded technology as well. This really takes it down to a core level of an agency and allows each agent to buy into the technology and leverage it with their current clients and referral partners to earn more business. And that's really the goal in a nutshell of what we're trying to accomplish by taking it down to the agent level. Our automation has been one of our biggest successes since we were in San Francisco in March. The fact that we roll this out 100% automated on behalf of our white labeled agencies, everything from communication to onboarding of their clients is all white labeled, and really makes it seamless with our 6-week rollout process for an agency to get on board and really not have to do much heavy lifting, as our system handles most of it. The numbers speak for themselves. We've launched over 28 agencies in the past 2 months. We've launched over 31,000 policyholders, and based on those initial agencies, after our 6-week campaigns of onboarding, we've seen an average of a 34% adoption within a book of business for our initial agencies. It's huge, much higher than what we thought initially. We have some agencies that are almost 50%, and that is our benchmark, to get 50% of an agency's clientele adopting their technology and utilizing it to handle a lot of those service needs. Again, more opportunities to refer more business. It's good for the agency. We've launched pilots with a lot of large agency clusters across the US. With those agency clusters, we're hoping to be launched to their entire portfolio of agencies at the culmination of the pilots. With all of these clusters together that we're live with pilots right now, it's about 1,500 agencies. And so that's really a nice target for us by the end of 2020 to be live with 1,500 agencies across the US. Then overall, our vision for Glovebox is really to become a digital IA marketplace for agents to be able to incubate their clients digitally within their platform. What we know is agents, they quote what they quote. The coverages that they usually offer are pretty standard, one size fits all. It makes it very difficult for carriers to offer new product lines and features, getting agents to try to push it. If we can push it digitally, allow a client to be able to get a quick quote on an endorsement or a separate policy, maybe pet insurance, and allow them to bind right an app, this is significant revenue for the carriers, significant revenue for the agencies, and the client is covered the way they want to be covered. So this is really the overall goal of Glovebox, is to become that incubation of a digital marketplace. We really appreciate you guys. I look forward to talking to everybody soon, and take care. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. And I saw a few questions come in for Glovebox. A reminder that they are really active on Umbrella today. And if you'd like to shoot me an email, I'd be happy to connect you directly. Great. And next up, we have Jaxon.Ai.
Hello, everyone. Jaxon is AI for AI, focused on using AI to label data so humans don't have to. The heart of AI today are models that use labeled data to learn from. The more high-quality labeled data you have, the better you're able to get highly accurate models. Companies have dozens, if not hundreds of workers labeling data manually, and it takes months to produce enough. It's the biggest bottleneck in the AI creation process today. Jaxon's automating as much of the process as possible. Currently focused on natural language use cases, really anything that's been written or spoken by a human, such as the free-form text inspectors write for lost run reports, customer service call logs, chat logs, social media analytics, etc. Raw text comes into an assembly line that adjusts to your company-specific data, tied to your own nuanced use cases. Then, through a series of algorithms and an iterative cycle of human input, Jaxon outputs training data. Humans simply can't compete. Not only are the human labelers slow and costly, they're not very accurate. We typically see the labeled data sets coming in from the human shops in the mid-70s to low 80s of accuracy. That means models are being trained on an inherently flawed starting point, which is why many fail in production. Text analytics, especially using deep learning, is extremely powerful for departments ranging from customer service to marketing and sales, ever more importantly, risk and compliance. Jaxon can also help fill in the gaps for robotic process automation systems, for example, claims adjudication or triaging trouble tickets, and actually how Jaxon was born, powering chatbots. Here's a case study we did with a top 10 retailer. They had 400,000 return comments that their human labeling team took 200 man weeks to deliver. With just a couple weeks of man time, Jaxon not only labeled all of the data autonomously, it ended up taking less than an hour, it produced a better training set that produced more accurate results. We've learned a lot about the insurance sector during this program. We're in late stage pilots with a number of companies because of the ecosystem, hopefully turning the corner to new licensees in the insurance sector. We're also in an accelerator with the US Air Force. It has paralleled this program over the past couple months, and both have been incredible experiences. The nice part of the Air Force effort is that we're getting non-dilutive R&D financing. It's very attractive for a number of investors, and we're narrowing in on our Series A. That being said, we haven't signed a term sheet yet and would love to talk to any strategic or venture investors. We've had great dialogue with many of you, but we're hopeful we can explore fit with all of you. You may find me through our website, Jaxon.Ai, or email me directly at scott@Jaxon.Ai. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. And next up, my good friends at Harbor.ai.
Hi, my name is Paul Gagliotti, CEO and co-founder of Harbor.ai, the world's first artificial intelligence-powered insurance exchange platform. Harbor.ai brings together retail brokers and their commercial insureds with insurance carriers based on insurance carrier appetite. We're not an aggregator. We allow insurance carriers single risk selection based on their unique needs while providing a transparent experience for all the parties in the process. Harbor.ai uses top of funnel data acquisition to then provide information via API, platform rating, which we're able to quote, bind, issue, and endorse all within our own technology, and even create documents for a more traditional brokerage submission if necessary. Our platform is able to then use streaming encrypted messages that will exceed current regulatory compliance standards. Our platform is totally free to use. We charge no SaaS fees, lead generation fees, integration fees, or maintenance fees. This enables us to get paid when deals transact and provide our options to more brokers all around the country. As you can see, we have many carrier partners utilizing our exchange infrastructure to help and distribute their products in the unique ways that they require. We work with them to automate deal flows, lower their expense ratio, and generate new business sales.
Hello, I am Mark Hatfield, CTO and co-founder of Harbor.ai. Harbor.ai is insurance infrastructure for real-time automation. Within our platform, we use three forms of AI. Knowledge graph, which is a new data standard for insurance, machine learning, which is used for predictions and making recommendations, and logical inference, which is used to make automated decisions. Our knowledge graph data standard allows acquiring data from many sources in automated processes. Let me show you a quick walkthrough of using the Harbor.ai platform from the perspectives of the insured, the broker, our AI assistant, and the underwriter. In this example, an insured starts with a Google search and clicks on one of our broker's ads. The insured interacts with our platform to select coverage options and provide data used in underwriting. These questions are selected in real time by our AI assistant. For cases that can be completely automated, the insured leaves with a bound policy. As the insured interacts with Harbor, the broker receives a real-time notification of a submission. The broker can jump in to assist if needed using our AI assistant for help on the Harbor web portal app or the mobile app. The AI assistant interacts with the insured to create a new submission. Coverage options are recommended, underwriting data is acquired, logical reasoning is used to decide to qualify or disqualify the requested coverage. The AI assistant can explain why it made a decision. The underwriter receives real-time notifications of new submissions. In this example, the submission was for general liability for a contractor, which the AI assistant declined. The underwriter can review why a decision was made. In this case, the applicant had roofing work over 4 flights high, as well as too high a percentage of subcontracted work. In this quick walkthrough, we explored how Harbor.ai streamlines the flow of business from the insured to our carrier partners. And I hope I have inspired you to learn more. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Laura Triscoli-Munoz, and I'm the Director of Operations at Harbor.ai. Through our unique model, we have an extensive distribution network. We are able to quickly go to market through our direct and wholesale brokerage appointments and operate full stack. We are looking to onboard gig agents to our exchange. By our exchange offering tools to help brokers obtain quotes accurately and efficiently, we are able to have individuals with minimum insurance experience place coverage. We currently have 200 retail brokers signed up and ready to use our exchange when it goes live. We are also constantly looking to add carrier partners to the exchange. Our technology is flexible, and we welcome additional third-party technology integrations. We are currently partnering with a fellow Batch 8 member, Attestiv, to provide self-service inspections to our insureds. We are creating dynamic inspection workflows to help the insured and brokers save time, while also creating a cost-effective way for underwriters to review risk. We are currently seeking a $6.8 million Series A capital raise. $4.8 million of the funds would be utilized for technology development, insurance operations, and marketing expenses. $2 million of the funds would be used for premium financing. Thank you for your time. Please contact us at Harbor.ai to learn more.
Thanks so much to the team at Harbor.ai, and perfect segue to plug-and-play portfolio company Attestiv.
With the proliferation of AI-enhanced tools for creating fake images and videos, it's getting harder for people and machines to discern fakes from reality.
As this technology advances, it will become more and more difficult to determine what's real from what's fake. I'm Nikos Vekiridis, co-founder and CEO of Attestiv, a company that provides a higher standard for your digital data and media. The problem we solve is actually a growing epidemic. It's fake photos and videos. With Attestiv, you can discern real images from fakes through our patent-pending AI and blockchain-based technologies. This includes fake prevention via our tamper-proof photos and videos, and fake detection using AI analysis. We not only verify the media content, but we also track time, date, location, users, and relevant metadata.
At Attestiv, we ensure authenticity of digital media and data to protect your organization from fraud and harm. Our products cater to organizations in insurance, public safety, and IoT.
Fraud is a huge problem in the insurance industry, but it plagues other industries, particularly as we become more dependent on media like this.
Our tamper-proof technology helps enable solutions for insurance that include trusted third-party and self-service inspections. Self-service inspections are particularly relevant in a time of social distancing, but represent the future, offering immense cost savings and improved customer satisfaction. Fraud prevention and detection. For example, if you were presented with these two photos from a site inspection, you might not know which one to believe. But the good news is there are ways to take action now. Digital transformation. Built on our fraud-resistant foundation along with AI acceleration, we can move manual processes to self-service and streamline them to make customer onboarding simple and grow your insurance business.
We are thrilled to announce our relationship with Harbor.ai, another Batch 8 startup. Harbor is using our self-service commercial inspection. Inspections are customizable for various business categories using APIs. They're fast, tamper-proof, and highly cost-effective. The benefits are a better customer experience at a fraction of the inspection time for agents, all while reducing risk and cost. We are also working with an insurance carrier on personal property insurance. We offer customers a self-service onboarding via mobile app, tamper-proof asset photos, and AI extraction of document data, including declaration pages and appraisals. Benefits include frictionless customer onboarding, eliminating hundreds of otherwise manual inputs, reduced risk, and improved revenues. A third case study is with HomeBinder, a home inspection and home inventory platform. Within HomeBinder's web-based product, homeowners can perform home inventory and self-service inspections. All photos are validated by Attestiv, and the guided process only takes about 20 minutes. Reports are delivered to carriers as PDF, in email, or via API, offering a simple and frictionless method of loss control for home personal lines. We are always looking for new customers and also partners who can help us accelerate our path to market with industry-leading insurance technologies. We are currently seed funded. We plan to start our Series A fundraising in the fall, and we would be happy to have an early discussion on the investment opportunity. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Nikos. Definitely keep the team at Attestiv on your radar, and I know Paul and Nikos would love to hear from you. And next up, we have another recent plug-and-play investment, Brighthive.
Hi, I'm Matt Gee, the CEO of Brighthive, and we are the platform for data collaboration. Brighthive helps networks of organizations share and combine their data using something called a data trust. You see, I started my career as a data scientist at the US Treasury during the credit crisis. And in that job, over and over, I found that the most valuable, essential, often market-making or market-correcting insights sat at the intersection of data that I had and data that someone else had. And the same was true for all of my data scientist peers, inside and outside of government. But when any of us tried to get two or more organizations, whether they were public or private, to combine their data, we'd run into myriad legal challenges, technical issues, and governance questions that would get in the way of us creating new and valuable insights. Me and my co-founders created Brighthive to solve these fundamental problems of cross-enterprise data collaboration. At Brighthive, we think of ourselves as nerdy sandwich makers. We built the BLT sandwich of data sharing and governance across enterprises by simultaneously solving for the business alignment, technical integration, and legal framework necessary to make all of this work. Brighthive does this through its industry-leading data trust management platform that unifies and automates the workflows of business, legal, and technical stakeholders at each organization sharing their data. And because data collaboration needs a human touch, we have a white glove onboarding service that helps reduce risk and accelerate value for collaborative members. Now, while there are a lot of applications for data trusts, Brighthive's initial target market has been data sharing that bridges education and work, enabling precision talent pipeline management. For example, in the state of Colorado, our public-private data trust pools data from over 300 organizations to measure return on investment for every upskilling and reskilling program in the state, providing the shortest path to reemployment for hundreds of thousands of currently unemployed Coloradans. Now, we've done similar data trusts with customers and partners across enterprise, government, and the nonprofit and philanthropic sector over the years. And while this market continues to grow for us, when the COVID-19 crisis hit, suddenly responsible data sharing and governance was salient for a lot more folks. Organizations began using our platform to unlock data sharing and collaboration across a variety of rapid response and recovery use cases. from networks in Texas, helping frontline workers get the supports they needed, to networks in Utah using it to reduce risk of exposure to the virus, to networks in California using it to help get the unemployed back to work. So COVID-19 has accelerated our market expansion, and plug and play has been enormously helpful along the way, especially in demonstrating the potential for data trusts in insurance. Thanks to our participation in this program, we have POCs under development for data trusts in insurance, ranging from IoT collaboratives for new parameterized contingent insurance products, to measuring the ROI to employers of behavioral health insurance products, to reducing the regulatory reporting burden for insurers. We've had strong year-over-year revenue growth. We raised a $2.5 million seed round at the beginning of last year and are planning to raise our Series A at the end of this year. So if you're interested in being part of that round, let's talk. We are the leading data trust management platform trusted by Fortune 500 companies and government agencies, and we'd love to explore your use case for data collaboration. So reach out, Umbrella, and we can get started today building your BLT sandwich. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Matt. And moving right along into Airkit.
Hey everybody, Frank Golden here with Airkit. Excited to speak with the Plug and Play team today. Really quickly, we want to go through three things today. What is Airkit? What are some of the problems that we solve? And then we'll show it to you in action. So a quick note on our team to start. Our team has been together for a long time, but we started Airkit in 2017. Prior to this, we were part of a company called RelateIQ, which sold to Salesforce and is now today's Salesforce IQ and Einstein products. And we got back together 3 years ago to help more companies provide delightful digital customer experiences. And the problem that we're solving is that companies historically scale with headcount to meet consumer expectations. This could be hiring more people in a contact center or hiring more engineers to build these experiences. And it's because they're trying to keep up with the Amazons of the world and the ones who are providing this digital-first, customer-obsessed experience, because those are the ones winning hand over fist across every industry today. And companies are spending more money than ever on digital transformation, to a tune of over $7 trillion, and it's because they're seeing, on average, a 20% reduction in costs. What the problem is the payback period is a little longer than most CIOs would like to see. So now CIOs are looking to low code and automation in the next 2 years to lower this payback period and increase the results. And one of our clients, Turo, which is a car marketplace here in San Francisco, puts it really nicely. They say customers are happy when their issues are resolved quickly, not necessarily when speaking to an agent. So our solution is we are empowering the next generation of CX developers to build automated customer-facing applications. And the way that you do that is in Airkit Studio, which you see on the right-hand side. This is our low-code platform where someone like myself, who's not technical, can actually go in and design a customer experience end-to-end and then deploy it and connect it with your different systems as well as your different channels. And we're doing this for the likes of MetLife, but also startups. And our customers really love Airkit because it helps them stay ahead of the curve and provide a modern experience. We integrate with their current systems. We have a connection builder. So we're able to connect disparate systems and provide a unified experience to your customer. And then you can report on that. You can deploy it really quickly. And of course, it must be secure and safe. But let's see some of these experiences in action. So let's think about calling into a contact center. I'm calling in right now. On the right-hand side, I want to make an update to my account. What I'm able to do with Airkit is transition a phone call to a self-service digital experience. So I can receive a text message, click on that link, and then see my account details and make updates to my account, change my payment, and change my address. And this will all flow back into your CRM and systems to take a lot of the effort off of your team doing that manually. Secondly, a lot of teams are playing phone tag. People don't pick up phone calls they don't recognize anymore. We have ways of engaging your leads or customers with SMS with these scheduling links that you can see. Bring me to this web page to schedule time when it's easiest for me. So I can go ahead and select the day, select the time, receive a confirmation text, and reminders leading up to that, which leads to a 150% increase in connect rates. And lastly, due to coronavirus, a lot of teams have moved and shifted to work from home scenarios. So it's important to remain compliant. And we're helping teams collect sensitive information while on a phone call. In this example, it's payments. So we can actually provide your agents with a portal to trigger these text messages out to clients in this entirely secure and touchless experience. And we make it really easy for the customer to see the link, see it's the company's webpage, trust it, Apple Pay, Google Pay, or scan their credit card. So here are just 3 brief examples on what you can create with Airkit. There's a whole lot more. You can try some of the experiences on our website right now, Airkit.com. But if you're curious about what else you can do or want to have a conversation about your CX strategy or goals for this year, we would love to have a conversation. Again, my name's Frank at Airkit.com. We would love to get in touch. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, Frank. Please feel free to reach out to Frank directly. I'm happy to connect you as well. Next up, we have Skan.
Hello there, my name is Avinash and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Skan.Ai. Skan helps map, model, and manage the invisible enterprise. What is the invisible enterprise? Between what an organization thinks is its business process and what is actually happening on the ground. Between the boxes and arrows diagrams at level 1, level 2 that describe processes and the standard operating procedures and what's actually happening in the innumerable exceptions, nuances, and decisions that human beings are taking with digital tooling lies the invisible enterprise. It is critical that we know that, but the reason we do not know about it is because we use human discovery to be able to figure out these business processes. This act of human interviews actually does not work. It does not work because there is a tacit dimension of knowledge, that human beings know more than they can tell. And always, when we ask someone what is it that they do in a given situation, the answer is not what they do, but the answer is what they're supposed to be doing. And so, large part of what an organization thinks is its business process is simply not true. You'd say, well, that's all very well, but why do we care? We care because we do not want to be a statistic on a page like this. Enough blood, sweat, and tears have already been spent on digital transformation that was not quantified and depended on anecdotal evidence. Skan aims to change that. We change it by using computer vision, which is where the digital rubber hits the digital road, which is where all decisions are seen on the screen. We use computer vision to observe the screens at scale across the organization to be able to figure out what the business process is. We do not require access to your backend systems. We do not require access to any data or logs. We use information on the screen, and using computer vision, we figure out what the business process looks like. There is no human discovery, and therefore we can easily go beyond the happy path descriptions of work. And because this is a data-driven description of work, we can simulate, we can interrogate, we can automate these processes. So Skan, we deploy tooling on each of the desktops where work is happening, and we use the information on the screen to capture information much like a WebEx or a Zoom would, and use that to be able to build out process twins. Not just on the work of one person, but of the many people who are working in the organization. Using this information, we are either able to provide supervisory AI or data-driven re-engineering and transformation that then dovetails into digital transformation agendas of the organizations. So what is it that Skan can do for the enterprise? One, it can help understand and optimize before you make digital interventions based on data. And second, after the digital intervention has been made, and that intervention may be automation or change in tooling or retraining of people, monitor and manage the impact, again, on a data-driven basis, not based on interviews. So Skan does not automate. Skan drives continuous compliance and risk using supervisory AI. Skan benchmarks work, provides precision training, and Skan is being used for process mapping and compliance in claims management, in automation and application rationalization, in compliance and due diligence, and in optimization and transformation at large organizations. feel free to reach out to us at www.skan.ai. Thank you.
Thanks so much to the team at Skan. They are also working really closely with the enterprise programs. If you didn't catch them yesterday, I know the guys are online and would love to hear from you. So next up, please welcome Security Advisor.
Hello and welcome. My name is Sai Venkatraman and I'm CEO of Security Advisor. Let me start by talking about the problem we are trying to solve. The number one reason for cybersecurity breaches are human actions. According to a study by Willis Tower Watson, more than 61% of claims can be attributed to the human element of cyber risk. There are hundreds of things people can do that result in cyber breaches. These vary from clicking on phishing links to installing risky apps. This problem has become worse with the massive shift to remote work that has happened over the last few months. Overall, there are three major dimensions to cybersecurity. The first is technology, the second is processes, and the third is people. Security budgets often underinvest in the people dimension. Even investments that are made on people is often on cybersecurity training. The problem is users hate training and administrators cannot figure out the ROI from these training efforts. This is where Security Advisor comes in. We use tools already deployed at customers, and we use these tools like antivirus, Office 365, G Suite, which are fairly pervasive and found even in the smallest customers, to extract teachable moments. When we find these teachable moments, we deliver bite-sized lessons to users who are at risk, and we use these bite-sized lessons to change behavior. The biggest benefit of our approach are measurable results. This is what makes us interesting for cyber insurance providers too. This is a real-life example. We went and we integrated with the antivirus system deployed in one of our customers. The customer had about 3,000 users. And what was interesting was that about 100 users out of the 3,000 users were accountable for about 80% of incidents. These were not deliberate incidents. Most of them were caused accidentally. So we identified who those 100 users are, and we then figured out teachable moments that were relevant for each of these 100 users. Then we delivered just-in-time, bite-sized lessons to these users through email and Facebook Workplace. What then happened was quite remarkable. From 10,000 malware detections per month, the number of detections went down to about 135. That is a 99% dip in the number of infections. When we look at our customers across the board, we see that we produce different types of measurable outcomes. Outcomes including a 90% reduction in the number of malware detections on the endpoint, a greater than 50% reduction in web violations, a greater than 50% reduction in users clicking on risky emails. That translates to an overall reduction in security incidents by 50%. What it means for cyber insurance is that there is a greater than 50% reduction in claims. We also deliver greater than $200 in benefits per employee at the insureds. Our biggest differentiator versus competition is how we combine analytics and awareness to deliver measurable outcomes. In many ways, we are a bridge between cybersecurity and cybersecurity awareness. We have a great team with more than 50 years of cybersecurity experience. All of us were senior leaders at McAfee leading different products. We have a great set of investors and advisors as well. We have some remarkable traction with Fortune 500 accounts. Our Insurtech pipeline has exploded, and we offer some interesting options for insurance partners. We are part of pre-breach loss control services. We offer a revenue share and a discount for the insureds. We also offer freemium services. Our ask, we are interested in partners who are willing to do pilots with us. We are also looking at a Series A round and are looking for investors who can join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sai. And next up, we have ForMotiv.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Mayock, and I'm one of the co-founders at ForMotiv. We're a behavioral intelligence solution helping insurers and financial institutions fill a critical gap left over by digital transformation. Now, with digital transformation efforts being looked at as really the #1 strategic initiative across the insurance industry, we're providing a new layer of cognitive data that improves customer experience and reduces risk. So now if you think about opening up a policy or a bank account in the face-to-face environment versus completing it digitally today, there's some key differences, right? In the face-to-face example, you get the full picture of the applicant. You know the type of transaction that they're trying to complete. You're able to understand the difference between someone that's frustrated and ready to leave versus someone that's likely to purchase multiple products, or someone that's a genuine customer versus someone that's trying to manipulate their application. Now, as we've shifted to digital, carriers have really lost that critical layer of behavioral insight, and they're forced to treat every user as the same and decision off of the final answer data that they provide, and that alone, right? So what we've done is we've developed a way to bring the same level of behavioral insight that you get in the face-to-face environment, now just in the online space. So leveraging thousands of the seemingly lost behavioral data attributes of a digital application. Think things like your typing speed, mouse movements, time between questions, corrections. We're able to analyze what we call a user's digital body language in real time to predict their intent. Now, what this does is it allows a carrier to deliver dynamic customer experiences that are based in the unique behavioral attributes or traits of each individual user, just like you would in that face-to-face sample. So some of the use cases of how carriers are actually putting this into practice really focus around enhancing customer experience, reducing risk, and accelerating underwriting and decisioning, right? So if we start on the customer experience side, we're making real-time predictions for things like whether or not an applicant or an agent starts a quote is likely to finish it. And if they are they likely to call another call center to complete or handle it all through web? Now, we're also working heavily in the agent-focused side of the business, looking at instances of subtle premium leakage from agents where they know how to manipulate a customer's application in order to get them through underwriting. And sometimes an agent's goal, obviously, to hit certain commission goals isn't really aligned with the carrier. Now, the great thing about the solution is really how easy it is to get up and running. It requires no PII being sent to ForMotiv, which is great, obviously, in order to get a pilot or proof of concept set up. We have a very straightforward three-phased approach where phase one is all about collecting data. Now, if you don't take anything else away from this presentation, know that the most important critical step in really any digital transformation process is collecting data. And in almost every case we see in the insurance space, behavioral isn't being captured today. So once you're up and running collecting data, now we can actually do something with it, right? The next step here is detect. And this is where we start to baseline high-risk behaviors and create these rule-based alerts when we see risky or deviant signals. So an example today would be something like receiving an alert anytime an agent changes the previously insured question after issuing a quote. Now, the final step is predictability. And this is what we were talking about earlier, where we're passing an applicant intent score and signals in real time to assist with automating underwriting efforts and dynamic security and engagement. So now wrapping up with a kind of a quick update and ask. In the last 4 months since our plug and play demo day, we've signed 6 new paid pilots, 4 new customers, and 2 strategic partners. So we've seen significant traction in the last 6 months and have ramped hiring accordingly. And what we're asking for today is for paid pilots from the corporate partners. We have a 100% conversion rate from pilot to customer, and we're really ready to show why and the value in getting a behavioral intelligence project stood up with your organization. So thanks so much for listening, and hope you enjoy the rest of the demos.
Thanks so much, Mike. Next up, we have Recursivelabs.
I'd like to talk to you this morning about our company, Recursivelabs, and how we're helping our customers to define the new normal. I'm Bud Albers. I'm the chairman and CEO at Recursivelabs. Over the last couple of months, we've lived through some pretty unprecedented events that have had profound changes in a number of areas. One of which is really pointed out very well here by the folks at McKinsey, and that is we've had radically increased digital adoption across the board over the last couple of months. In fact, I agree with them when they say that we've probably moved forward 5 years in our digital engagement over the last 8 weeks. And if you look at the folks who are new to the digital engagement realm, 75% of them say that they are here to stay even when things return to normal. And that makes this the new normal. And this is really where we come in at Recursivelabs. We've built the industry's leading live visual engagement platform. Your apps, your websites, they're now, with a shift to digital, becoming your new place of business. And we live at the intersection where your technology, your customers, and your organization meet. And we work every day to make remote easy, to help you through your sales and support processes, to help you with customer onboarding, and to be able to allow you with co-browsing to see what your customer's seeing safely and securely, to be able to dynamically create a video chat at any time during the experience, again, to bridge the gap and to make remote easy. We've developed an innovative application that allows you to also leverage your customers' smartphones or the smartphones even in your organization without having to distribute an app. You simply send a text, and with one touch, you're streaming back live directly from that smartphone, supporting things like field service or identity verification in financial services. You can do insurance claims, any kind of remote support. We make it as simple as text, touch, and stream live. And we want to be simple in terms of our interface and the way that we operate so that you build trust with your customers. Because we work every day to build trust with ours, and we're fortunate enough to be working now with some of industry's great brands as we begin to build our company out. And in that space, we provide a wide set of tools and capabilities that cover a multitude of different use cases. In fact, we also bring a high security bar, so much so that one of our customers actually uses us every day for video chat and co-browse to help on the relocation services contract they have with the Canadian Armed Forces. Again, our platform covers everything from co-browse to video chat and the ability to record all of it to deal with your web apps, your mobile apps, or even to get to cell phones without having to install any apps. We can work standalone, or we can work inside of your existing CRM and provide an enterprise-grade experience. An example of one of those experiences is our work at TD Ameritrade. We work with TDA. We began in their national call center, and with success there, moved to their physical branches. We've rolled out across there, and now we're inside of their call center and their mobile applications. And from there, we've also been included in TDA's industry-leading VEO One platform on the institutional side, and we're being rolled out to more than 30,000 independent financial advisors. Our no-download video streaming to mobile product is used every day. Relate SMS is used hundreds of times daily by Coca-Cola to provide service and support to their customers in restaurants and bars and anywhere where there may be a fountain Coke machine that needs some help. At Recursivelabs, we'd love to talk to you about being a prospective customer or a prospective investor. We're in the process of raising our Series A round. You can reach me at any of the contact points there on your screen. Thanks for listening.
Great. A lot of exciting growth for Bud and the team there. Next up, we're going to hear from local Bay Area company Pridatex.
Hello everyone, my name is Arjun Banerjee and I'm the CEO of Pridatex. I'd like you to take a moment to imagine a world where no company has to worry about data breaches and no one has to worry about their digital privacy. That's the kind of world that we, Pridatex, help create. So let's talk about the problem of data breaches and protecting digital privacy. Your companies rely on data insights to service their customers better, right? In order to do so, they need to share sensitive customer data with employees or third parties to be used for machine learning analysis. Now, modern data protection laws bar them from sharing this data to prevent violating consumer privacy. But employees may still be liable to accidentally disclosing this sensitive data, causing a data breach and violating privacy. Legal repercussions ensue. In order to work with data in a protected way, you need data anonymization. It legally protects privacy, even if there's a data breach. Let me show you a demo so you can get a clear picture of what we actually do. Over here, we can see a sample health insurance dataset that can be used for classification analysis. It indicates whether a person has filed a health insurance claim based upon demographic and location attributes. This data can be used in combination to isolate, identify, and expose certain individuals. Now let's run the Pridatex anonymizer to generate anonymized data, and it will take a couple of seconds to anonymize this data. Now let's pull up the anonymized data side by side with the original data. As you can see, the data set we show has been anonymized so that any analysis that can be performed on the original data, shown left, can be performed on the anonymized data, shown right, with the same accurate insights. Thus, full privacy protection can be added on as a feature without sacrificing any machine learning capability. So, how do we protect privacy? Unlike synthetic data, we rely on a technology called differential privacy. It is a strong statistical framework to protect digital privacy that is accepted by many international data protection laws. We're selling an API around our black box algorithm that can integrate with databases on-premise or on private cloud. As opposed to an owner security architecture shown here, Pridatex APIs can provide the following benefits to your data analytics infrastructure. Number one, Pridatex alleviates encryption key management, which is a huge hassle for enterprises. Number two, it eliminates the need for decrypting data that would make data liable to privacy violations once again. And number three, there will be no need for limiting access to sensitive data using keys anymore, which broadens data innovation. We are working with companies from plug-and-play Insurtech to integrate the API into their analytics workplace, as well as partners like Tata Consultancy Services. Not only are we useful for the modern analytics workplace, but we are also a critical cybersecurity technology to integrate. 1 in 3 companies are at risk of a data breach, and data protection regulations are continuing to get stricter around the world. You need to integrate us to mitigate those increasing risks for your company. We want to change society, and we need your help to get there. Pilot with us, invest in us, and grow with us. Thank you.
Thanks, Arjun. Next up, Tom with Bello.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm the founder of Bello. Bello is a digital life insurance distributor that offers simple, easy to understand, and proactive life insurance. We're looking to partner with insurers and companies that work directly with insurers to offer a digital life insurance product. Bello is pre-launch at the moment. We've had lots of interesting conversations, proactive dialogue with potential partners and interested parties. And we're actually looking to launch in Q3 2020. So anybody who's interested in having a chat about insurance distribution or about what we're doing differently at Bello, please do get in touch. We'd be happy to speak to you. So the problem, or one of the problems at the moment, one of our key differentiators in life insurance is user acquisition. So our user testing with prime life insurance candidates, those, you know, with kids, young kids, wife, husband, mortgage, we would ask user testing questions such as, when was the last time you shopped for life insurance? What friction, what barriers did you have that prevented you from buying it? Now, when we asked a lot of those questions, we got a lot of feedback that was, I don't know what life insurance is, or they don't know the purpose of life insurance, why they need it. Some of them had their 401k, they had life insurance with work, they had other insurance in place, and were doing some, had financial planning set, but they didn't know that they even needed life insurance. one of the problems that we have, and I've got a bunch of content here on the right from Insurtechs and traditional insurers, is that they're really targeting bottom of funnel. So people who are ready to purchase insurance, instant approval term life insurance. With that kind of insurance jargon, you'd have to understand, one, what term life insurance is, two, what instant approval is. So you'd have to know about medical examinations, etc. So we're really missing out on 99% of the audience here, of people that are top of funnel, middle of funnel, and aren't quite ready to purchase. So the solution to this is establishing a relationship, establishing thought leadership, and building trust before selling to people. And that's exactly what we're doing at Bello. So if you look at a basic marketing funnel here, what we're really doing at the top is building awareness about the problem and trying to create demand where there isn't already demand, and try and establish a relationship with somebody. We do that through storytelling. Middle of funnel, once we've hooked a user in, we're trying to entertain, educate a user on what the solution to that problem is. And bottom of funnel, through product analytics, we can tell when somebody's shown intent to purchase, and at that point we will engage them to purchase life insurance. So how we do this, and how we do this differently at Bello, is through hyper-personalization. So number one, with user acquisition, we are offering personalized videos based on your demographic. If you're a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, you'll get a particular video based for you. Let's say it's middle of the funnel, it's educational. We won't just be sending generic images out with generic copy. Once you hit our website or app, you'll get a very hyper-personalized experience. So you'll get recommendations to watch videos, read content, and the words on the page will change and the images will change based off the data we have about you from the ad, how you've interacted with us before, and what data you've given us to provide an awesome experience. And lastly, engagement. So hyper-personalized engagement. Currently with life insurance, there's a problem where you'll get generic text messages, generic phone calls as soon as you input your data. We will send you information if you're in an educational phase of your journey. We will send you engagements at the right time. So through mobile technology, you can send moment-based engagements where we're not interrupting you when you're at work, we're not interrupting you when you're in the car. We pick a time when you're idle and ready to engage with us, and we've actually seen 4 times higher engagement and conversions on that. So that's a really quick overview of how we're doing distribution differently at Bello. If you're interested in having a chat, please do get in touch through Plug and Play. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. And next, I want to welcome Jauntin. We're going to kick off the Life Health, Group Benefits, Population Health, startups from our batch now.
Today, we live in an on-demand world where you can get what you need when you need it in real time. And this on-demand world has been made possible by gig workers, millions and millions of them. 75 million in North America already, 24 million who are looking for more flexible short-term coverage options. So you figure with all this advancement in technology, insurance would already be flexible and easy, but we all know that's not the case. Insurance is still very, very expensive to distribute and very inflexible for the policyholders. So we at Jauntin asked ourselves, can we make insurance easier? Can we make it more flexible? Can it be so easy and flexible that you can just swipe it on when you need it and swipe it off when you don't? And so that's what we did. Hi everyone, my name's Rain. I'm the founder of Jauntin, and we enable insurance companies to distribute scalable on-demand insurance. We are based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So how does it work? Well, we work with insurance companies to turn this into this, where users can sign up for insurance on their phones, and when they need it, they simply swipe on. We are a B2B software company, meaning our carrier partners white label our platform to distribute short-term flexible insurance to their end users. We also have APIs and connections available with gig platforms to embed that same product into third parties. So it looks something like this. Instead of being a standalone platform, it's embedded directly into the third party. So what's the value proposition? Well, we automate the small policies so you can focus on the bigger stuff. We make short-term insurance both possible and profitable. And we do this through our microservices, which allows our partners to do the quote bind issue and first notice of loss all within our platform without having to integrate into their legacy systems or their existing IT framework. There's also a social impact. We make insurance accessible to a vulnerable section of society. These are users who normally wouldn't be able to get insurance because they can't afford the upfront capital outlay of a traditional annual policy. So now they can get short-term insurance, be covered just like anybody else, just in case something goes wrong. So the big question is, are carriers interested? Is there any validation? And the answer is absolutely. We've had a busy couple of years. We've done a pilot with AIG. We've gone through Global Insurance Accelerator. We partnered with Gore Mutual in Canada to introduce gig liability coverage. So imagine being a dog walker, a videographer, a photographer. You can now get short-term insurance for your gig job. We signed our first partner in the US in January of last year to introduce gig health coverage to gig workers. We signed another insurance company, can't be named yet, but they will be launching shortly. We signed yet another US partner recently, and then that brought us really to selection day for plug and play. And since then, we've been working hard to integrate some of these products into gig platforms, including Grubhub. And from there, we hope to sign additional insurance partners and platforms to continue to grow. Since selection day, our team has grown almost double in size. And so we are very proud to be able to not only provide protection to vulnerable workers during these hard times, but to also be growing in these very, very difficult economic conditions. On-demand insurance. Our vision at Jauntin is to become the largest distributor of short-term insurance and making insurance accessible to everyone around the country. And if you're still not convinced that this is the way forward for the insurance industry, the next time you yourself go to get insurance and you get something like this, please think of us and how much time, money, and effort you could have saved if your insurance partners had gone on demand.
Thank you so much, Rain. Please feel free to reach out to Rain and the team at Jauntin. Next up, I'd like to welcome Pythonic.ai.
Hello, everybody. I'm Matt Yonkel, the co-founder and CEO of Pythonic.ai. Pythonic provides AI as a service that helps you automate your workflows that involve review of documents. More precisely, we develop context-aware AI solutions that streamline workflows involving your unstructured text. You can think of us solving the problems you have when you're trying to make sense of the information locked up in PDFs, including Skan documents. Let me take you through an example to show you how this works. Northwestern Mutual needed help streamlining review of medical records that they use for underwriting and claims with the goal of significantly reducing their review time. These records are long and tedious to review, hundreds of pages many times, usually with a lot of repetition. If you've seen these documents, you know what I'm talking about. To provide a solution, we built a context-specific optical character recognition engine alongside a context-specific natural language model tuned specifically for the types of documents Northwestern Mutual needs to review. What this looks like in production is we configure a secure cloud endpoint. We can host it, or we can provide a container where our customers can host, and that endpoint then accepts the unstructured data. Usually, of course, this is a PDF, it can be scanned or native. Once we've received that input PDF, we unleash our custom OCR and natural language model on the text to structure and enhance the data according to what's needed in the particular use case. For medical records, we care about deduplication and extraction and enhancement of certain elements. We then send the output back, and this can be in the form of a new PDF with that enhanced data embedded with bookmarks or summary pages, or it can be in the form of structured data like JSON or XML, or it can be both a PDF and the structured data. Our narrow AI approach, and that's our approach of narrowing the problem set to the specific type of documents in question, is what's needed to get the best-in-class results from AI, which we've been able to achieve with those medical record documents. But there are other use cases. We have a partnership with a leading software provider in the title insurance space, where we're seeing great results with closing packages. And we're currently exploring use cases in financial compliance and stop-loss insurance. Product development is led by my co-founder, Dr. Bao-Cheng Chow. Bao has extensive AI experience that runs from academia to industry. He was a lead AI engineer at Networked Insights, which was acquired by American Family Insurance, where he put multiple successful AI projects into production. My background is also in software, where I've launched and grown several successful companies, including 2 developing workflow automation technology. The rest of our team includes experts in life and DI insurance, cloud security, and real estate tech. We're growing quickly with products in production or development in the life and DI, title, escrow, and closing, and compliance verticals. And we're always on the lookout for opportunities that fit the sweet spot for our narrow AI approach. While this means narrow in terms of the data, we want to tackle workflows that are widely used, where we can develop a point solution that applies to an entire industry, not just to a single client. And for each new use case, we need a partner to guide us in building this prototype. If you'd like more information about Pythonic, please contact me at matt@Pythonic.ai. We're not raising right now, but we're always interested in getting to know investors. And of course, if your company fits our sweet spot and needs help automating any document review workflows, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you to Plug and Play for the opportunity to present today, and thanks for listening.
Thanks, Matt. Next up, we're going to hear from Jennifer at Peacefully.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Good. I'm the CEO of Peacefully. We help families with all of the bureaucratic logistical tasks after death and help them prepare comprehensively for end of life. We launched our beta 6 months ago, and since then we've already helped more than 10,000 families and have partnerships covering 8 million people. We also have an investment from Generator and funded by Securian and Allianz. Started Peacefully based on a personal experience. So my grandmother had terminal cancer. She really cared about preparing. She thought she'd prepared. She set up recurring gardening for my grandfather. But then after she passed, we realized she hadn't prepared well at all. So there was a bank account that had his name on it, meaning probate. No one knew where the safety deposit box key was with the will in it, the car, the cell phone. It all just added up so that he was waking up in the middle of the night and my whole family was making customer service phone calls during the day, and just thought that it was existentially depressing that we couldn't just focus on sitting, grieving, and celebrating her life. 2/3 of widows say it's the hardest part about becoming a widow, hundreds of hours, thousands in legal fees and funeral costs, family conflict. Many people get their identity stolen after they pass. Our vision and what we're working to is to take this to a simple 20-minute process that could be completed either before or after someone passes, and we just shut everything down for them. This also has incredible benefit for our business partners. One of the largest challenges is that 95% of the assets leave the institution or the advisor during intergenerational transfer of wealth. And based on our initial data showing that 20% of people coming through are already requesting a financial advisor, we think we can increase that significantly. On the employer side, 500 hours of lost productivity, because all of these tasks must happen Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And then we also are working with funeral homes, estate attorneys, real estate agents, assisted living to get referrals to customers. For life insurance, improving claim satisfaction and creating longer term engagement. It's a huge market. So just the post-death and immediately pre-death side is $44 billion in the US alone, although this is an international problem. $19 billion in increase in productivity potential for US employers. We combine empathy and automation to make these tasks more efficient. So people dealing with the end of life either have the option to work directly with our technology, or they have the option to work with an empathetic concierge to offload tasks and get unlimited question and answer. So we charge for that guidance on subscription. And then on the technology side, we have 2 main tools. The first is a digital lockbox that integrates to post-death task form filling, or you could just start at the form filling. So it's sort of like TurboTax for end of life. And then a do-it-yourself tool, sort of like Asana, where you can add friends and family members, financial advisor to collaborate. You can track progress, and each task has any links to forums, instructions that you need to get things done. How are we different than our competitors? So there's a ton of companies that help people with pieces of planning. We're different because we bring it all together. And then we also have this post-death stuff that makes the planning more useful. So we actually help people get things done, whereas everyone else is just a to-do list. If you're ultra wealthy, you could pay a lawyer, financial advisor, $200 or more an hour. But even if you are wealthy, it doesn't make sense to pay $200 an hour for someone to call your utility company. We also have strong traction, both direct to consumer and our business partners. So on the direct to consumer side, we've had more than 7,000 users over the past 6 months. On the partnership side, we're working with Axia Long-Term Care Insurance and the consortium that they've built, which includes Paychex, Mata, Brookdale, as well as directly with several hospitals, and those cover 8 million people, and we've had 3,000 people come through that way in the past 6 months. We also have an investment through Generator funded by Allianz and Securion. And then we also are deep in conversations with a number of other employers and life insurance partners and financial institutions.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. Next up, we're going to hear from Burnalong. Thanks, Daniel.
Hi, I'm Daniel Friedman, co-CEO of Burnalong. We're changing lives by bringing people online the health and well-being programming that they need, and critically, especially today, the social motivation to do it. The youngest person who uses Burnalong is 6 weeks old. There are Mummy and Me classes, and the oldest person to date is 97 years old. We have classes for people with arthritis and Parkinson's disease and different chronic conditions. And those using us range from transportation companies to banks to municipalities to insurers. Let me start though by asking you, how many of you today exercised? And did you also look after your emotional health? Now, what about your family members? Children, parents, grandparents, what did they do today? And the reason that I ask is because we have a systemic problem, both here in the US and globally, where most people don't do the programming that they need to do. 80% of the population doesn't get the recommended levels of exercise, even outside of today's health crisis. Why don't people do what they need to do? Two big problems. Number one, a lack of relatability, and number two, a lack of social support to do it. To put it simply, imagine someone here in Baltimore who's 55 years old, 300 pounds and on diabetes medication. Seeing this image of a white 22-year-old from LA with a six-pack is not going to inspire that person. You have to meet people where they are. And that's what Burnalong does. We partner with hundreds and hundreds of wellness instructors from across the country. And so we've got local, relatable content spanning more than 45 categories so that whatever your age, interest, or level, you can find what you need. And critically, we enable you to have the social support to do it. And so when you go online with Burnalong, you can see it's one of your favorite coworkers, your family members, your friends, or someone else with a similar interest or condition live on the screen, and then you can invite them to join you. And whatever your interest in type of class, we bring you that. There are cycling, adaptive workouts, sleep, mindfulness, self-defense, pet workouts, you name it, we have it. And you can do those classes on your own, or, and this is really popular, you can utilize the social component where you can actually see and hear others. So you've got that social motivation brought to you in your home. And that's why people show up and keep going, because there are real people keeping them on target. Our partners range from insurance companies to cities to hospitals. And the reason why they're all partnering with us is that Burnalong works. We see that we outperform the industry 5x. And what's behind that is that combination of choice and social motivation. And what's especially interesting is that we see that more than 25% of classes taken on the platform are in the specialty and emotional support categories. So not only do we get more people participating in programming, but critically we get people and their families who previously weren't participating. The next step for us, and we're doing a fundraise later this year, is to focus on using the data that we're collecting to drive medical outcomes for people, as well as expand internationally. I'm Daniel Friedman, co-CEO of Burnalong. Would love to hear from you. You can reach me at my number or email address below. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Daniel. Daniel and the Burnalong team are also in the current health batch, so you can look out to connect with him later on this afternoon for those presentations. Next up, please welcome Gradient.ai.
Hi, my name is Stan Smith. I'm the founder and CEO of Gradient.ai. The business problems we address within the insurance industry is the fact that carriers are restricted to their own data and their own experience when they're using AI for underwriting and or claims management. At Gradient.ai, we not only have advanced solutions around underwriting and claims management, but we also aggregate data across our growing list of clients so that we're always able to bring more data to every engagement, which means we augment each client's own experience and data assets with a growing pool of other experience from other carriers on both underwriting and claims. What this means is that consistently, in a very material, meaningful way, our solutions produce more accurate underwriting results and more insightful claims management results. How does that translate for our clients in use cases? I'll show you a few examples. This is a case where a client is running their typical policies or their average policies through their typical underwriting process and then running it through our models for a second opinion. And we're giving them a fine adjustment to either give it debits or credits to more precisely and more consistently hit their profit targets on an underwriting basis. At the portfolio level, we're able to actually help our clients understand where they're winning the most business or winning the least amount of business. And unfortunately, in many cases, it turns out that they're winning the least new business in the best performing segment of their book and winning the most business in the worst performing segment. And our solutions help them reverse that trend. Also, from a profit maximization, we target models to allow our clients to identify the least amount of premium they can give up to maximize their bottom line improvement. Here's a case where the client gave up less than $2 million in top line premium, but that resulted in reducing their losses by $4.5 million. And the ultimate impact was their loss ratio dropped from just under 62% to about 55.5%. On the claim side, again, a number of different solutions from the standpoint of identifying claims from the moment of first notice of loss, so they can be assigned the most experienced adjuster if they're high risk. At the same time, if they're low risk, they can be handled by less experienced adjusters or auto-adjudicated, dropping the amount of cost and handling time so that you end up with a much better customer result. When the claims get handled quickly and resolved quickly, the clients win and client retention is increased. We continually update every claim every 24 hours with our clients, providing us more data so that if there's any change in the expected outcome of a claim, that we send out alert within 24 hours of that change so that our clients can see that change and be proactive and start to put more resources on a claim in case things are starting to change in an adverse way. Another way that our clients are leveraging this technology is just overall efficiency. Here's a case where a client was trying to monitor and manage their most expensive claims. So they see 20,000 claims per year. They wanted to really focus their resources on the top most expensive 2,300 claims, which they knew were sort of over a dollar threshold. Their team was managing for every one of those claims that they were actually catching. They were managing an additional 3.5 claims. Once they rolled out our solutions for the same number of claims they were catching, they were only managing an additional 0.3 claims. So overall, our impact tends to be 3 to 5% loss reduction from a claims perspective and 2 to 4% increase in the combined ratio, improvement in combined ratio, not increase, but decrease in the combined ratio on the underwriting perspective. Our next initiative is pushing forward on a platform to allow our clients to have their data scientists leverage the same platform we use and the same data sets we use. We work with proof of concepts, pilots, and full productions. My name's Stan Smith. I'd love to have a chance to work with any and all the members of the plug and play environment.
Thanks so much, Stan. Next up, we have Daniel with LivNao.
Hi, my name's Daniel. I'm the founder and CEO of LivNao. Our goal at LivNao is to help the world become healthier and more productive using the power of data. 61% of the workforce is burnt out, costing Canada, the US, and the EU $12.8 billion every year. Not only that, but many studies have recently shown that poor mental health and poor physical health are heavily linked. We know there are other solutions out there that claim to solve these problems, but after talking to users and talking to customers, we learned that these solutions just simply don't work after 3 to 4 weeks because they require very high engagement to produce positive outcomes. We decided to build something that's easy for anyone and everyone to use, something that doesn't require high engagement and responsibility on the user's end. LivNao takes passively collected smartphone sensor data to measure and detect changes in mental health for delivery of just-in-time interventions. Our product is grounded in 15 years of research in the academic field and our own 2 studies where we collected 65 million data points. We look at different things like social behavior change using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, geolocation behavior change, and your mobility behavior. We do this to deliver just-in-time interventions that are linked to an individual's health and wellness or insurance plan. This encourages employees to stay healthy and keep them off the track of burnout. Additionally, we help users understand what creates an uptake or downtake in their score that they can record. We also help them understand when they are the most productive during the day. And they always have the ability to look into their own historical insights. Just to clarify, these individual insights are never shared with the employer or the insurer. The only data that leaves the phone is de-identified and aggregate level data. We help employers and insurers understand and quantify health and wellness spending. So as an example, we can tell you how effective that yoga room you're spending $200K on every year is in moving the needle on mental health scores of your employees or productivity capacity scores. We also help you understand what behaviors and environmental factors might increase or decrease different types of mental health risk in a population level. We've recently added a feature where users can add trusted contacts. These are typically close friends or family who can receive a notification if a user ignores multiple interventions and reach a dangerous level on their mental health score. These are some of the problems that we're solving for our customers in the insurance industry, everything from health and life to P&C. We're working with some really awesome customers that we're excited about, and we're recently part of the health batch as well as the Insurtech batch at Plug and Play. We also have a plan to grow our product beyond health and wellness into clinical deployment. We have an awesome team behind our product, including advisors, everything from business all the way to clinical advisors. And we're currently looking to add to our customer roster. Please reach out to me if you are interested in becoming a customer. We are also raising a $2 million seed round to grow our company. Feel free to reach out about that as well. Thanks for your time and happy to answer any questions you might have. For those of you who are interested, we also have a back to work solution that brings everything from behavioral nudges for compliance to contact tracing available to get companies back to work. Please feel free to get in touch if you're looking for that solution as well. It's something that we decided to adapt our core product for on the side to offer our customers.
Thanks so much, Daniel. I know Daniel and the team would love to hear from you. And if you've been catching our weekly webinar COVID series, Daniel's been a huge piece of what we've been working on here at Plug and Play too. So, and to close out our startup presentation portion, I want to welcome Ali with TCare.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ali Ahmadi. I'm the CEO of TCare. At TCare, we are an enterprise-facing software used by health insurance, healthcare systems to conduct an assessment of family members that are taking care of their elder loved ones. And our system is designed to prevent the burnout of those family caregivers. We are an enterprise-facing system used by employees of the clients We are not a consumer-facing app. So we are now proud to say we are the only evidence-based, CMS-approved, and federally accredited family caregiver support program in the country, with the grounding science behind us of what's known as the identity discrepancy theory, which is the transition of role from a son, daughter, or spouse role into a full-time caregiver role. Whereas in early stages of caregiving, I'm 90% son, 10% caregiver. Towards later stages, I become 90% caregiver, 10% son. In each stage of this caregiving, there's different risk factors that go with caregiver burnout. So we did a 2-year pilot partnership evaluation project with Washington State's Department of Health. In a cohort of 2,300 caregivers, TCare was proven to save the state $20 million annually in their Medicaid budget by delaying nursing home placement on average of 21 months and reducing Medicaid long-term care service usage by 20%, which led to last year we became legislatively mandated in Washington State's Medicaid program. What exactly is our software? Our system is used by care coordinators, social workers, caseworkers, care managers at different clients' organizations to conduct an initial triage of a family caregiver. If they are high risk, they're guided to do an assessment. Our algorithms kick in, creates a care plan with our proprietary database of resources, connecting them to resources in their local zip code, and then closing the loop back through our engagement system, measuring compliance back to the care plan. Here's our initial triage tool. The system guides the care professional to conduct this interview telephonically. Our system measures their risk scores in our proprietary measures of risk. Our system creates the care plan along with resources in their local zip code across the 55,000 zip codes across the country. And then our system guides the caregiver through this automated engagement system to measure compliance back to the care plan. So at the end of the day, we're not another yellow pages of resources for family caregivers. We are distributing the right resource at the right time to the right families. My wife and I thought we needed respite home care in our caregiver journey for my mother-in-law. But when we went through the algorithms, what the system identified, what we needed was marriage counseling. Because our at-risk factor to burnout was the toll caregiving was taken on our marriage. Not only did the system identify that, but also identified 3 blocks away from our house, there's a local church that every Saturday morning does free family counseling sessions, and did a referral into that. We have clients in 3 different categories: the state departments of health, the Medicaid, Medicare health plans with Cigna, United Healthcare, Anthem. These are some current existing clients. And we have clients in life insurance, long-term care insurance, and employee benefit markets as well. We are a team of 22 full-time employees based out of St. Louis, Missouri. And with that said, I'd love to have a follow-up with you. Here's my email address. Please feel free to reach out and connect with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ali, and thanks to all of our 28 Insurtech Startups this batch. It's been a really great batch, a bit of a learning curve, of course, taking it virtually, the batch from home. But of course, we work with a lot of great startups and a lot of great partners year-round. So I want to take us into the award portion of our presentation today, and I want to welcome a recording from our Director of Partner Success, Trisha, to announce our Corporate Innovation Award.
Thanks, Rachel. This year's Corporate Innovation Award winner has been an active partner of ours since 2017, with an amazing story on how they tackled their innovation journey. What started as engagement from one single individual has since then grown into an inclusive team with buy-in from across the organization in areas such as business development, business ventures, and all the way up to the executive leadership. We'd like to take this moment to thank that single individual, as without him, we do not think our partnership would be where it is today. His efforts to get leadership out to Plug and Play, or time spent mentoring startups from across our many different programs, have not gone unnoticed. And his passion for his job is something so rare, it radiates energy. That same energy we pride ourselves on here at Plug and Play. Now, who is this mystery man? It is none other than Ted Reed with Unum. While I cannot share Unum's secret to success, TED is definitely a major factor in this. And it's a bittersweet moment for us to announce that TED will be retiring this July after 36 years with Unum. We want to wish him the best in his new adventure as a sailor and look forward to taking TED's groundwork and creating new opportunities with the Unum team. Let us hope he shares a little bit of his secrets with you before he leaves. But with that, please help me in welcoming, on behalf of Unum, as this year's Insurtech Corporate Innovation Award winner, Ted Reed. Ted, take it away.
Oh my goodness, what a flattering and positive thing to say about us and me. Thank you so much, Plug and Play. I'm Ted Reed from Unum. I've been in charge of business development for Unum for the last 6 years, and the last 3 have been very much involved with the Plug and Play ecosystem and working within it. I'm talking to you from Cumberland, Maine, in the northeastern U.S., and have a few just remarks, I guess. We sort of officially accept this award, and thank you very much for considering us for it. Unum's a pretty cool place, and while one person can get things started, it takes a village to be successful in innovation work. And I think some of the attributes that have made us successful as a company in terms of embracing and learning about and testing new and emerging capabilities really starts from the top. Our very top management have deemed this kind of work important. We've set aside money for experimentation specifically. We may be a little different in that all the innovation work that happens within any one particular functional area is owned by those business owners. So we don't isolate our innovation work. It's woven into our operations and our leadership. When I'm hunting, and I'm the guy out there among others who look for possibilities and opportunities, I'm mostly looking for things that could affect revenue or risk management or customer experience or efficiency as a company, almost anything. And it's all my colleagues and how they receive and lean into these ideas that really makes us different. So Unum is really thankful that we've been recognized for this, and it's working for us. It's not from a textbook, but the way we operate and how we try to be is what's making this possible. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about what is just awesome about Plug and Play, and Plug and Play is awesome. We get more than half of our possibility leads from the Plug and Play process, and it's going to be even more vital now that we're dealing with a pandemic for the next 1 to 2 years. It's harder to go to conferences and things like that, so it's really, really important, and it is important to us. What we love about Plug and Play, number one, are the startups and the scale and the global scope, and the quality of what you source and find is just phenomenal. And we love also the fact that there are multiple verticals. There are at least 4 that are vital to us. We're part of Insurtech, but we love enterprise, particularly HR technology. We love the health tech vertical, and we are eager to get more involved with the fintech vertical now that its timing is better aligned with the annual cycles for us. And there have been others that we've touched into as well. The welcoming of our leadership, one of our strategies is to bring as many of our business leaders out to Plug and Play and actually experience the whole sort of public events that you're probably used to learn, to help us assess and discover. And their antennas are a lot higher in the future when you bring good ideas to them, when they can picture where these things are coming from. So that's been phenomenal. Thank you for helping me change our culture at Unum as it relates to emerging businesses. The talent at Plug and Play, you people, are phenomenal, and the responsiveness is incredible. The way you tune in and learn us and start to suggest things that might be relevant to our issues and our ambition is fantastic. And you're fun, and really appreciate the people. Probably anything, like when we look at startups, half is the mousetrap and half is the human beings. And if they're both checking the boxes, that's great. And Plug and Play, you got great talent and staff, and keep that up. The last thing I guess I would say is the food is pretty good, and the libation is awesome, and it's always fun to be there. And there's sort of the more formal pitches and all, but then there's the sort of social time where you can get under the covers on topics and learn more in those events. And I think while this COVID thing's at play, we're going to miss the food quite a bit. And anyway, we'll get over that. Again, from the bottom of our hearts at Unum, thank you, Plug and Play, and the community. Look forward to meeting more of you, perhaps, but for sure you'll be meeting more of my colleagues as we carry on.
Great. Huge thanks and congratulations to Ted and to the team at Unum, and special congratulations to Ted on your retirement. You will be surely missed. But now I want to take a few minutes before we close to recognize our Startup Leader Award. For some insight into what our Insurtech program looks like, our startups have 12 weeks of resources in terms of workshops, office hours with corporate partners like Ted and the team at Unum, investors, different advisors, and plenty of opportunities to present their product in creative ways. So I really want to recognize Harbor.ai as our Startup Leader Award winner today, and give them a few minutes to speak.
Hi, Paul Gagliotti, CEO, co-founder, Harbor.ai. Thank you so much for the award. It's an absolute honor. The Plug and Play experience was absolutely unbelievable for us. Even though it was remote, all the folks at Plug and Play made it feel as close to in-person as possible. Thank you so much for Saeed for putting the entire program together. Rachel, Eugenio, Ash, Eric, and everybody else at Plug and Play. Thank you so much for all the help and direction with our app and all the other introductions you guys helped make. Special thanks to all the corporates and the mentors. You guys helped us to understand more about what we were doing, put it into context, and give us real world advice and some help as well. Thank you so much to all the other Batch 8 startups, Ariana, Netta, Oleg, Paul, Nikos, Daniel, Ali, and everybody else in our batch. It was an absolute honor to be in a batch with you. I know we're Batch 8 for life, so I look forward to continuing all the conversations. I'll pass it off to Mark, my CTO and co-founder. Thank you guys again.
Hi, I am Mark Hadfield, CTO and co-founder of Harbor.ai. First, let me reiterate all the thanks Paul mentioned to the Plug and Play program and all of our batchmates. And let me also add a heartfelt thanks from the entire Harbor.ai team. The Plug and Play experience has been invaluable to our young enterprise, and I'm excited for all we are going to do together. Thank you again for this award. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. And as you saw from their presentations today, Harbor was really wonderful in getting the entire team involved with the program, and I hope to continue our relationship with Harbor and all of our batch companies going forward. But with that said, I want to close and thank everybody for joining us today. Feel free to reach out to me. Let me know what you'd like to see if you want to be involved in our program. If you have an idea, somebody I can connect you with, happy to do so. We will be back here in 15 minutes where my colleagues Ava and Zach will kick off our health portion. Thanks, guys.